Chapter 1028, Undead Power. Chapter 1028, Undead Power. Is that all you can do? Gu Tongtian's disdainful sneer exploded in the sky. His laughter was filled with arrogance and contempt. Not die. He was still lacking in strength. The damage was still lacking. The most crucial point was that the amount of blood on top of Gu Tongtian's head was much higher than what Long Fei had expected, by as much as 5 billion points of blood. An incomparably terrifying existence. The existence of the god's martial continent's #1 boss. Long Fei's damage was indeed great, and every time it happened, it would cause millions of points of damage. However, to the 5 billion point of HP, it was minuscule, just too minuscule. That's all. This bit of ability is enough to crush you. Long Fei replied, then immediately following up with another strike from the god's Stellastone. And also in that instant, a sound of energy colliding rang out. Shoot! Shoot! The energy shockwave was like an extremely strong sword chi, as it crushed half of the gigantic building in the God Emperor's city to dust. In the sky, Gu Tongtian, who was in an incomparably sorry state before, grabbed onto the god's Stellastone with one hand as the corners of his mouth curled into a dark smile. Long Fei, you want to kill me? You're too weak. The god's Stellastone found it hard to advance even a little. There was no way to crush him at all. Long Fei's heart trembled. There's still an even stronger power that hasn't been released. Gu Tongtian had cultivated for more than 490 years. He had spent more than 300 years in seclusion in Outer Space Palace. What kind of place was the Outer Space Palace? Others might not know, but Long Fei was very clear that it was a sky battleship. The sky battleship itself was a huge secret treasure. If there were any foreign secret skills or skills inside, it would be reasonable for it to be alive with strong defensive armors. Gu Tongtian had trained a kind of secret manual that was left behind on the sky battleship over the past 300 years. This was also a fortuitous opportunity that he had obtained. The secret manual said, possessing undying defensive power. Once released, he would be an unrivaled existence, and the power of the god's martial continent would not be able to do anything to him. This sort of immortal deity technique was not about the immortality of the body, nor about the immortality of one's longevity, but rather it was about defense. It could also be used as an attack and could be used to reconstruct the primordial spirit. It was also because of this technique that Gu Tongtian stepped into the super realm of the 8th level of the Flying Immortal stage. It was also because this set of skills made him extremely certain that the secret treasure of Long Clan must have a sacred art that allowed them to live forever. This was because the dragon race had also come from a foreign realm, and their lifespan meant everything. Western Devil Lord's eyes were also sinister as his heart thumped. Such powerful strength. This power is completely not from God's martial continent. Seems like this Gu Tongtian is much stronger than I imagined. It was also at this time. The other 4 great elders of the Outer Space Palace stood in the air behind Gu Tongtian. Senior brother, are you all right? Senior brother, do you want us to take action? 4. They were all super powerhouse of the flying fairyland, the peak of this world. An extremely powerful existence. They were also the strongest existences in the Outer Space Palace. A sinister, cold smile hung on his face as he said, "There's no need. I was just playing around with this brat just now, giving him a bit of hope so that he can fall into even greater despair." Ha ha! Gu Tongtian looked at the nearby Long Fei and said, "Long Fei, just now was just playing with you. You're not the only one with a fortuitous encounter in this world. Me too. I will let you experience it now. My power. Buzz." A giant skull inexplicably appeared on Gu Tongtian's body. This kind of power was extremely unfamiliar. Yen Huang ancestor said, the power of a foreign realm. The power that does not belong to this world seems like. Yen Huang ancestor sank in a deep thought, and after a few seconds he shouted suddenly, undead power. It was also at this time. Yunner suddenly said, not dying, not dying. It was the power of the undying emperor. This time, Big Brother Long Fei. She didn't dare think about it. He didn't dare to use his own blood veins' power to look at Long Fei's future. He didn't dare see what would happen next because she was afraid. Long Fei said, Ancestor, how do we break it? The Yen Huang ancestor shook his head and said, I don't know. This power is too strong. I can't think of a way to break it. The power of the gods' martial continent is simply not enough. Your current cultivation is still lacking. Under the heavens, they were nothing but ants. Long Fei forcefully used the power of the god's bone taboo and the god's stella stone to crush Gu Tongtian, but in reality, his power was still restricted by his level as well. Whether it was the power of the god's bone taboo or the power of the god's stella stone, they were both restricted by their realms, unable to unleash their true strength. It can't be solved. Long Fei's heart trembled. This father doesn't believe it. His body moved. The god's stella stone pressed forward again. Come, use your strongest power. Boom. The silver-green light on the god's stella stone shone brightly. Long Fei clenched the god's stella stone tightly and fiercely slashed down. Too slow, he coldly laughed and said with disdain. After slashing through the air, Long Fei, I said it before, easily you dodged the attack, weak to even take a single blow. Buzz. Gu Tongtian's illusionary body moved and landed in front of Long Fei. One palm pressed against Long Fei's chest, and the immortal deity technique that he cultivated surged out. An incomparably huge skull rushed out, and an enormous penetrating force exploded out from the center of his palm. Buzz. Rumble. Rumble. Long Fei's body caved in, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. His chest felt as if it was splitting apart, and the 6 wings on his back all broke as an enormous pain burrowed into Long Fei's body. Pain. Incomparable pain. It was violently struggling, wanting to break through, but the 9 layers were not enough for him to break through. The 6 wings were broken. Long Fei's face turned ashen. Gu Tongtian laughed coldly and said, You're as weak as an ant. So what if I become a demon? It's still the same. Now, I want to beat you back to your original form. Boo! Boo! He grabbed Long Fei and smashed him in the chest with his palm. The undying energy from the bones rushed into Long Fei's body. The power in his body was like a madman as he struggled violently like a child struggling in its embryo. An unbearable struggle. Long Fei spat out blood. He basically did not have any strength to resist. At this moment, Qiu Wandao took a step forward. Young master. Without waiting for him to even get close, the aura coming from Gu Tongtian's body directly crushed the space between his eyebrows, causing him to spit out a mouthful of blood and heavily fall down. I'll fight it out with you. The sword in the black knife's hand moved. At this moment, Song Qianqian, Aoya, Linglong, Sun Datu, and the rest all rushed forward. Gu Tongtian laughed coldly. A bunch of ants. Chapter 1029, 10 seconds, level 10. Chapter 1029, 10 seconds, level 10. The power of a joint attack. Boom. Dao Feng took the lead and released the power of everyone's attack. However, Gu Tongtian swung out his sleeve as he sent a palm strike. Boom. All of them were crushed and heavily smashed down. Their bodies were severely injured, and they spat out mouthfuls of blood. Long Fei was not a match for him, so it was even more so for them. Ha ha ha. A bunch of trash. Long Fei, with just you people, how can you fight against me? In this god's martial continent, I am the sky, I am the god. Fight against me? Ha ha ha. You don't even have the slightest qualification to do so, Gu Tongtian said in disdain. As he spoke, he still struck Long Fei in the chest with his palm. His chest split open as fresh blood spurted out. Huff, huff, huff. Long Fei gasped for breath. Black blood gushed out of his mouth. His body could not take it anymore, and he was beaten back to his original form little by little. Enchanted was beaten back to its original form. Moreover, Long Fei's devil body was already on the verge of collapsing. There was no longer any reaction. Following that, the power of the God's Bone taboo also quieted down, and all of its power was suppressed. It was as if it had never appeared. Boom, boom, boom. Long Fei returned to his real face appearance. The Overlord's colossal armor was smashed to smithereens. The defenses on his body were also blasted into smithereens. The 14th dragon ancestor could not rush over. They had not returned to the dragon domain, so they were unable to activate their true strength. To them, returning to the dragon domain could truly be considered as returning. Facing the soaring sky realm, there was nothing they could do. Watching Long Fei get blasted apart caused them incomparable discomfort, but there was nothing he could do. The same went for the 3 giant demons. Their cultivations to a powerhouse of the soaring sky realm were also unable to withstand a single blow. Other than the level 10,000 Hanba, Long Fei no longer had any other way out, unless Long Fei could open the 10th level of the God's Bone taboo. Boom! With a loud sound, Long Fei fell from the sky and crashed heavily onto the ground. A huge crater was created from the explosion, and the ground beneath cracked open. Long Fei lied in the middle of the crater and looked up at the proud Gu Tongtian in the sky. The corner of Hanba's mouth quirked upwards as he revealed a cold smile. Now you remember me? Didn't you not need me? Ha ha ha. I was crushed like a dog. I truly feel sorrowful for you. Ha ha. Hanba laughed coldly. He had always been disdainful towards Long Fei, even when he had become Long Fei's war pet, because he was the overlord of all the Divinity S, and even so many powerhouse S couldn't do anything to him. But now he had been captured by someone from the lower realms and turned into a war pet. Seeing Long Fei being trampled, he laughed out loud in excitement. Long Fei said, "Come out and kill him." Hanba shrugged and said, "Not interested." Then, he no longer cared about it. Long Fei said, "If I die, you will also disappear. Do you want to die with me?" Hanba said, "You are underestimating me too much, brat. I am not interested in these kind of flying fairyland trash, but if you want to forcibly release me, that is fine too. The first one I will kill is you. Ha ha. Are you still letting me out?" Long Fei could control and release Hanba. However, with a loyalty level of 0.00001%, it meant that as long as he released it, he would rebel. Long Fei hesitated. Hanba was his last trump card. Once he fought, if he betrayed them, Long Fei would die, everyone around him would die, and the entire God's martial continent would die. This was because Hanba was the god of drought. He would turn the god's martial continent into a hell. Long Fei was furious beyond belief and said, Hanba, stop being so arrogant. Sooner or later, I will beat you to death. Hanba sneered. Sooner or later, I will kill you. Hanba did not make a move. Long Fei did not dare to release him. If Long Fei wanted to activate the power of the 10th level of the God's Bone Taboo, he would definitely not be able to do so right now. Gu Tongtian sneered and said, Long Fei, are you feeling good now? I've said it before, you're not fit to fight me. If only you would obediently be an obedient dog, then you wouldn't have to suffer so much. Gu Tongtian slowly descended, walked forward step by step, and stood in front of Long Fei. Seeing that Long Fei's entire body was bleeding, he said, The result of disobedience is buzz. Gu Tongtian grabbed the air and grabbed a disciple of the logistics department. Kacha! The head exploded. A brother fell down and died. Long Fei's heart trembled. With a crazed roar, he said, Gu Tongtian, I'll screw your ancestors. Ah! He roared in his heart. Long Fei moved his body and said, I fused 8th grade Immortal Foundation. Buzz. The power in his body surged, and his Immortal Foundation disappeared. In that instant, Long Fei's cultivation of the 9th stage of the Yuan Xian broke through its shackles, and the experience bars rushed up like floodgates, piece by piece. Ding! Congratulations to the player, Long Fei, for leveling up. Currently, your cultivation is at the 1st level of the Unity Immortal Realm. Ding! Congratulations to player, Long Fei, for leveling up. Currently at the 2nd level of the Immortal Fusion stage. Ding! 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 System beep continued to soar madly. Long Fei's cultivation leveled up. Level 1 per second. Furthermore, the moment he leveled up, all the pain in his body recovered, and the power of the fitted realm surged crazily into his body. At this moment, so everyone was dumbfounded, especially Gu Tongtian. He frowned, looking at the energy on Long Fei's body changing 1 second at a time, at the realm of 1 second, staring straight at him. He had never seen such a speed of breakthrough. Could it be that his breakthrough came with the anger in his heart? I don't understand. He didn't understand at all. The system was still ringing. Long Fei's realm was still constantly increasing. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the 8th level of the Unity Immortal Realm. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at the 9th level of the Unity Immortal Realm. Level +1 release. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Level 1 Immortal. Because Long Fei had fused with a 9th grade Immortal Foundation God's soul herb when he had broken through the Immortal Realm, he had not been shackled at all and had broken through in an instant. The power of the Immortal Realm crazily flowed into Long Fei's body. In 10 seconds, all 15 billion experience points were used up. Level 10. From the 9th stage of the Yuan Xian to the 1st stage of the Immortal stage, it was exactly level 10. Long Fei's body recovered to its peak state, and he slowly stood up. He stared at Gu Tongtian and said word by word, "Those who touch my brother die." As soon as he finished, Long Fei took a step forward. While Gu Tongtian and everyone else was still in shock, Long Fei's speed was astonishing, and with one blow, he knocked Gu Tongtian to the ground. Both of his fists were overflowing with the power of the Immortal Realm, and Long Fei also roared out loudly along with it. Gu Tongtian die. Chapter 1030. Long Zhanting ascend to the stage. Chapter 1030. Long Zhanting ascend to the stage. Everything happened too quickly. This was too shocking. The time from the 9th stage of the Yuan Xian to the 1st stage of immortality was 10 seconds. Was this a human? Even Gu Tongtian, who had cultivated for more than 400 years, was a little muddled and could not react in time. Too fierce. And it was also in the instant that he could not react in time that Long Fei leaped away, not caring about anything else. He only had one thought in his mind: blast him to death. Riding on Gu Tongtian's body, both of his fists were like machine gun fire, frantically striking down. Each punch was fiercer than the last. Each punch was more ruthless than the last. Long Fei crazily vented. Even if Gu Tongtian possessed the immortal deity technique, he would still panic a little at this moment. Long Fei's attacks were too fast, and he was using all his might to suppress Gu Tongtian, causing him to be forced into a defensive position. It was too hard. He thought that he could easily crush Long Fei. However, Long Fei became stronger in 10 seconds, break through 10 stages in a row. Everyone was dumbfounded. 10,000 punches. Boom, boom, boom. 100,000 punches. Boom, boom, boom. 1,000,000 fists. Boom, boom, boom. Brain just wanted to kill Gu Tongtian. Kill him, kill him. All sorts of killing sounds kept coming out from Long Fei's mind. Kill him, kill him. Long Fei was just like a machine that was operating at a very fast speed. In just a few short minutes, under the attack of 1,000,000 fists, the speed was so fast that it was suffocating, and one could not see it clearly. Gu Tongtian's face became a bloody mess. Are you qualified now? Who the F*** K is the trash now? Who the F*** K is an ant? Ah! Boom, boom, boom. They were still continuously striking, and the amount of blood on top of Gu Tongtian's head was also rapidly decreasing by 5 billion. Under the bombardment of 1,000,000 fists, he only had a little more than a few billion left, with only a third remaining. He was scared. It was the first time in hundreds of years that he was afraid. Long Fei was a madman. Gu Tongtian also shouted, "Junior brother!" Boom, boom, boom. The 4 great elders who were floating in mid-air finally reacted from the shock. With faces filled with shock, they shouted out at the same time, "Long Fei, stop right there." Next, for auras of the soaring sky realm heavily struck down, striking Long Fei's sea of consciousness and mind. Long Fei's eyes darkened. The speed of his fists did not decrease at all, as he laughed sinisterly. "Gu Tongtian, even if I die, I will drag you down with me as a burden." Boom, boom. Pressure was useless against Long Fei. He didn't slow down at all, and instead became even crazier. Gu Tongtian said loudly, "Get him away from me, get him away." At the crotch, wet and scared to pee, the 4 great elders struck Long Fei with their pressure again and again. Long Fei looked fine, but the sea of consciousness in his body churned, as if his internal organs were going to be torn apart. It was extremely uncomfortable, but he wanted to kill Gu Tongtian, no matter what, because he had touched Long Fei's bottom line, because he killed his brother. Make your move. Get him off me. The defensive power around Gu Tongtian's body became weaker and weaker. His immortal deity technique's defensive power was slowly collapsing, and it was cracked by Long Fei, this madman's over 1,000,000 fists. He knew that he wouldn't be able to hold on for long. If he did not escape Long Fei's attack, he would die. Once he was away from Long Fei's attack, he would have 10% of a second to breathe, and he would be able to instantly kill Long Fei. No matter how strong the power of the immortal realm was, it was not a match for it. He had been completely crushed by Long Fei. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been in such a sorry state. The 4 elders landed at the same time and instantly rushed to Long Fei's side. The 4 of them attacked at the same time. How powerful were the 4 powers of the soaring sky realm? At this time, the 8 golden dragons moved, and instantly entered Long Fei's body. Long Fei's body flashed with a golden light, golden dragon protector. Boom, boom, boom. As the golden light disappeared, the 8 golden dragons all spat out blood in incomparable pain. However, they did not give up and still protected Long Fei with their lives, roaring, "Come again! Are the 4 of you trash? Hurry up! Give me..." Ugh. Without waiting for him to say anything, Long Fei punched Gu Tongtian in the mouth, causing him to lose all his teeth. He spurted out a mouthful of blood and roared like thunder. "Long Fei, I'm going to kill you." Another dozen punches landed. He swallowed back everything he said. The 4 great elders attacked again, but Long Fei didn't even spare them a glance. His target was Gu Tongtian, and wanted to blast him to death. No matter what, the golden dragon endured the pain as Long Fei attacked crazily. The amount of blood on top of Gu Tongtian's head was decreasing. Long Fei became more and more excited, and the more ferocious he was, the more afraid Gu Tongtian became. He shouted out to the Western Devil Lord in the sky, "Master of Magic Tribe, did you forget about our agreement? Kill him." Master of Magic Tribe was also shocked. His heart was shocked by Long Fei. "Long Fei, this madman is too crazy. If Gu Tongtian was killed, would he be able to defend against it alone?" This was an unknown number. And then Western Devil Lord made a choice in an instant as he dispersed the devilish flames in the sky. He roared and said, "Long Fei, calm down a little." Crack! A loud sound echoed out. Western Devil Lord descended from the sky. At this moment, Green Dragon Ancestor roared out, "Return to your positions and turn into defense to protect Boss." They were no match for the powerhouse of the flying fairyland. They could only help Long Fei defend against the incoming attacks. Once the Western Devil Lord's attack landed, Long Fei would simply not be able to withstand it. The 6 dragon ancestors entered Long Fei's body. Western Devil Lord's power also came crashing down in an instant. Rumble! A loud sound echoed out. Long Fei was sent flying. In an instant, Long Fei crawled up from the ground and once again charged forward. His body was like a bolt of lightning, and the amount of blood on top of his head was only left with 800 million. God's Martial Continent's #1 boss. You must kill him. Buzz. A barrier blocked Long Fei's path. Long Fei crashed into the barrier, causing the barrier to crack. Western Devil Lord's face also darkened. At this moment, Gu Tongtian, who had crawled up from the ground, took a deep breath, his eyes bloodshot as he stared at Long Fei. At this moment, he had already recovered, and the fear in his heart had only needed a single thought to force it out. Gu Tongtian said in a heavy tone, "Long Fei, go to hell." Buzz. Gu Tongtian was thoroughly enraged. He had never been in such a sorry state before. His heart was filled with killing intent. At the same time he rushed out, the 4 great elders encircled him, and the Western Devil Lord also charged forward. In the sky and on the ground, Long Fei had no way out. In dire straits, Long Fei was only at the first stage of the immortal stage of the 6 great flying fairylands, so he was not even a match for them. However, now that things had come to this, Long Fei would go for broke, and he would not let the world get away with it. He coldly laughed in his heart. "Hanba, didn't you want to destroy the world? I'll give you a chance." Long Fei died. Those around him would die. Rather than getting killed by them, it would be better to just release Hanba and fight. Just as Long Fei was about to release Hanba, the sky darkened and a bolt of lightning struck down. At the same time, a black-robed middle-aged man stood in front of Long Fei and took off his cape. revealing a face full of runes. Gu Tongtian's eyes darkened. Long Zhanting! Chapter 1031, Fatty Resurrection. Revive the battle armor. Chapter 1031, Fatty Resurrection. Revive the battle armor. Gu Tongtian would never forget this face of his, especially that pair of eyes. Those eyes were gloomy and filled with a domineering aura. It was terrifying. However, Gu Tongtian was puzzled. He had obviously sent Long Zhanting into the abyss, and no one could survive there. Long Zhanting! These 3 words resounded in the air and shook the entire God Emperor city. Who is Long Zhanting? Surnamed Long. Is that related to Long Fei? Is that someone from the Long family? It's possible, but... So, what if he was a helper from the Long family? Could they still be a match for Master Gu Tongtian and the other 6 great flying fairylands powerhouse? It's just adding another corpse. You're right. All sorts of discussions broke out in the God Emperor city. The name Long Zhanting was simply too foreign to them, and not a single person knew of it. Even the elders of the palace question of God S did not know of this name. However, the moment Gu Tongtian said the 3 words, Long Zhanting, Long Fei was stunned. He looked at the tall and big back that was blocking him like an iron giant. Long Fei did not call out. The word father seemed to have the power of millions of kilograms, making him unable to call out for him. Or perhaps it was that kind of strange feeling which he had never called out before, making Long Fei unable to say it out loud. However, this unfamiliarity made Long Fei feel a sense of familiarity. On top of God's Soul Mountain, there was this figure that had borne through everything for him. In his days, although Long Fei did not see his appearance clearly, his figure was the same. Qiu, Wandao, and Elderly in Green stood up and said respectfully, Master! Long Zhanting looked at Gu Tongtian and said, Gu Tongtian, do you still remember me? Gu Tongtian disdainfully replied, I didn't think that you were still alive. I really didn't think of that. I thought you were the prophet's son, but it looks like you aren't. But head of the dragons, the tomb of the draconic body has already been opened. You father and son should be able to open any one of these dragon domains, right? In that case, it doesn't matter if any of you die, does it? Long Zhanting? Long Zhanting laughed coldly and said, Gu Tongtian, come at me if you dare. He didn't say much. Come if you have the guts. Gu Tongtian's brows tightened. He couldn't see through Long Zhanting right now, especially the aura coming from his body. He couldn't see through it at all. In that instant, the corner of Gu Tongtian's eyes lightly glanced at Western Devil Lord. At this moment, buzz, buzz. The pressure of the 2 violent flying immortal peak realm was released, forming 2 gigantic prehistoric beasts. With a roar in the air, they rushed towards Long Zhanting like lightning. They were the peak powerhouse of the gods' martial continent. No one could withstand the combined pressure of the 2 of them at the same time. Everyone was shocked. Old Master, be careful. Long Fei was also shocked. Taking a step forward, he could not help but shout out, Father, watch out! He suddenly shouted out. There was nothing to stop him. From the bottom of his heart, Long Fei really looked forward to having a father, and when he found out that Qiu Wandao and Elderly in Green were arranged by his father to protect him, he wanted to see his father even more. Long Zhanting looked up and smiled. He did not move an inch. The 2 mighty auras came crashing down. Long Zhanting's expression did not change. There were no energy fluctuations coming from his body, as though he had not been crushed at all. Gu Tongtian's eyes darkened. He was very clear in his heart about how powerful these 2 auras were. Neither of them could withstand it, nor could the powerhouse of the flying fairyland. Western Devil Lord was also shocked as he thought to himself, I never thought that God's martial continent would hide such an expert. Long Family is truly a hiding place. Boom, boom. With another change in strength, a huge pressure once again pressed down from both Gu Tongtian and Western Devil Lord, and this time it was even more ferocious than before. Boom, rumble, rumble asterisk, the air exploded. A strong wave of energy smashed onto Long Zhanting's body, causing the uneven ground to become extremely flat. Long Fei was forced to retreat due to the strong force. Powerful, an incomparable pressure. Who could resist it? Long Zhanting raised both his eyes and laughed coldly. Gu Tongtian, is that all you've got? As soon as he finished, Long Zhanting's eyes shook, his fingers moved, and an index finger pierced through the air. Break! Space itself shattered. The two auras shattered into pieces and were crushed by a bizarre power. Gu Tongtian retreated a few steps and spat out a mouthful of blood. Long Fei had seen it clearly, and because of this, a huge damaged figure of 100 million floated up above his head. It was incomparably terrifying. The same was true for the Western Devil Lord. Even his mind was churning, unable to withstand such a powerful force. Just one move. Not only did he drop their oppressive sleigh, he had also heavily injured them. This power, it was a complete mess. Too fierce. The two strongest people in the gods' martial continent. Their pressure had been broken in one move. Long Zhanting laughed coldly and said, Gu Tongtian, continue. Gu Tongtian's face was gloomy. Waves of shock were stirred in his heart as he stared at Long Zhanting. In the short span of over a dozen years, what exactly happened to him? And how did he become so powerful? Why? He couldn't figure it out. However, the anger in Gu Tongtian's heart was aroused, and he shouted out, Let me see how strong you are. Junior brother. Boom, boom, boom. 6 consecutive thunderous roars rang out with incomparable intensity. Powerhouse of the 6 great flying fairyland. The 6 people standing at the peak of God's martial continent. The 6 of them joined forces. It formed into a strong pressure. Its power was like the ocean, like a mountain, and it was as powerful as the heaven and earth pressuring Long Zhanting. He was indescribably strong. Long Zhanting's expression did not change at all under the black robe. His right hand grabbed out. Shwa! He grabbed the dead fatty. He raised his eyes and looked at the spot where the fatty's heart had been pierced and muttered an incantation. Then a strange rune appeared on his right hand, which was like a tadpole quickly swimming to the fatty's heart. The rune flashed a ray of light. At the same time, 6 powerful thunderbolts violently crashed down. The clothes on Long Zhanting's body fluttered, and he suddenly roared out, Fatty, holy armor fairy vein, level 11, open for me. He directly blocked the fatty's body. Very strange. However, when the 6 streams of flying fairyland's power crushed down, they were all absorbed by fatty's body. The runes on his body shone even brighter. The 6 types of power were like a forceful electric shock. It landed heavily on his chest. Buzz. Boom. The fatty's body suddenly caved in, and with a flick of his wrist, Fat Man Chun let out a deep breath and came back to life from hell. Her face regained its color. The runes on the heart slowly entered the wound, and the wound began to heal as well. At this moment, the holy armor fairy vein in his body had completely mutated. It was different from before. Long Fei was dumbstruck and muttered, Damn, guardian angel battle armor. Resurrection armor. Chapter 1032, Forbidden Techniques, Death God's Contract. Chapter 1032, Forbidden Techniques. Death God's Contract, his immortal foundation, was only at level 10. However, using the power of the 6 flying fairy land, he activated the power of the Holy Armor Fairy Vein at the 11th layer of Fat Mention, and then, a mutation in the immortal foundation, his divine armor began to change as well. He immediately became a guardian armor, possessing the power to revive. It was incomparably terrifying. Long Fei was extremely shocked and thought to himself, if it can evolve into a reverse injury armor, then it's possible to evolve into a resurrection armor. Fatty, is this the power that the Holy Armor King Kong is hiding? Every King Kong had its own special power. There was a powerful force lurking within their bodies, but they needed an opportunity to activate it. Li Yuanba's giant spirit body, the power of the Holy Spirit of the Sky Spirits, was their special power. The moment the fatty was sent flying by the Supreme God, it was Long Zhanting who brought him into the special space and pressed him down by the 5-fingered mountain. From then on, he saw the Holy Armor Fairy Vein that the Fat Men Chun possessed special abilities. He looked dead. However, his Holy Armor Fairy Vein had always been protecting him and had not given up. Using the strongest power of the flying fairy land to break open the shackles of the Holy Armor Fairy Vein in Fatty's body, its special ability was activated. Resurrection. Just one of them. Huff, huff, huff. I'm still alive. Ha! I'm not dead yet. This fatty is not dead yet. Ha! Fat Menchen touched his chest. His wounds had already healed. He was so excited that he started to dance with his hands and feet, looked at Long Fei, and said, "Boss, I'm fine. I's fine. Ha ha." If making a move on his boss didn't work, then making a move on his boss wouldn't work. Long Fei was, while speaking, incomparably he was about to pounce towards Long Zhanting, but he was happier than anyone else that Fatty was still alive, and shouted out, "Don't come here to die." Said, "If you have nothing to do, his aura surged, and his robes made explosive noises." Looking at the pressure of the heavens, Long Zhanting's gaze darkened and said, as he held his hands up to the sky, "Why is it you? And you have locked me up at the foot of 5 Fingers Mountain. And I have yet to settle this with you once again. Are you with Long Zhanting's body sank slightly. Ignored his robes had all been torn apart, and his upper body was naked. 6 countless scars covered his entire body back like from hell. This made them very unhappy. 6 streams of energy surged. What exactly did you experience? Rumble. Yi Zichen moved his palms. Gu Tongtian roared out, "Let's see how you can block me this time." Waves of power rushed out from his palm and shattered the suppressive force that was like a curtain in the sky, and looked at Long Zhanting, let out a furious roar, then looked at veins on his body bulge and said, his strength surged out like a raging sea. "Are you the eldest father?" Boom. "Damn it, the 4 elders were sent flying to touch Boss's boss as they spat out mouthfuls of blood." Fat Gu Tongtian was also forced to retreat, with blood flowing out. The same was true for the Western Devil Lordess. Their minds were about to be shattered, and they were feeling extremely uncomfortable. The pressure from the 6 Great Peak powerhouse was broken through by one person. Long Zhanting did not move from his original position. His face, aura, and strength did not change at all. Strong performance. Long Fei was stunned. To be able to crush 6 Peak powerhouses, even a level 9 flying immortal peak realm would be incapable of such a feat. What kind of power was this? The Yen Huang ancestor hesitated for a moment before replying, "The power of life." Long Fei was startled. He felt that something was amiss and said, "Ancestor, please explain to me exactly what is life energy." "It's the power of burning one's life, borrowing it from the god of death. This is a forbidden technique, and once released, one's lifespan will be shortened quickly. The power of life, using his own life to exchange for power." Hearing Yen Huang ancestor's explanation, Long Fei's face changed. Looking at his father's back, he could not help but burst into tears, clenching his fists tightly, clenching his fists tightly, his nails digging into his flesh, causing blood to drip down. Long Zhanting's eyes were filled with contempt as he coldly sneered. Gu Tongtian, do you still want to continue? Do you still want to kill me? Do you still want to kill my son? Ha ha ha. With your current strength, are you even qualified? Heavily crushed, Gu Tongtian's mind trembled. He could not see through Long Zhanting. The more it was like this, the more scared he became. At this time, Western Devil Lord shook his head at him. His mind was almost unable to endure the impact, and if he were to do it again, his mind would be broken. He didn't want to leave his life here. The four elders also had ugly expressions on their faces, as they were severely injured. Gu Tongtian shouted, Long Zhanting, you can consider yourselves lucky today. Long Fei, remember this, there will be a day when I will kill you and your Nantian region will be wiped out. While they were talking, Gu Tongtian shouted, Return to Outer Space Palace. His speed was incredibly fast. Before anyone could react, he had already disappeared into the horizon. Fat Men Chun was stunned for a moment, then said, Don't let them go. Take advantage of his illness and kill him. This grandson has bullied us so much, we can't let him off easy. Fatty wanted to give chase. Long Fei roared out, stopping the fatty in his tracks. He rushed to Long Zhanting's side and supported his father, whispering, Father, why are you doing this? Why are you making a deal with the death god? Long Zhanting was startled at first, but then laughed lightly. Xiao Fei, I can't hide it from you. Seems like you have grown even faster than I imagined. Even Gu Tongtian and the others could not tell, but you... Cough, cough. He coughed loudly. Long Zhanting's face suddenly became incomparably pale, but his face was still full of smiles, and he said, Don't worry about me. Now get out of here. Long Zhanting could not take it anymore. Long Fei's heart was bleeding. He said, Blood Dragon Ancestor, Patriarch Sea Dragon, take all the brothers away. We have to get out of here. If Gu Tongtian was discovered, none of them would be able to escape. Chapter 1033, Long Fei, Rise. Chapter 1033, Long Fei, Rise God's martial continent. In a certain valley, the demon beast lay prostrate on the ground, shivering. Within a radius of tens of thousands of kilometers, there were no demon beast. The flying beasts dared to make any sounds. Buffed, Long Zhanting spat out a mouthful of black blood, his face turning as pale as paper. Father, old master. Long Fei let out a sigh, looking at Long Zhanting's painful expression. It was as if his heart was pierced by a steel needle. Long Zhanting smiled faintly. I'm fine. I'm not dead yet, and the time limit is not up yet. Xiao Fei, listen to me. If Gu Tongtian wants your open dragon domain, he wants to get his hands on the sacred art and the dragon race's 10,000 years of lifespan. Long Fei did not know about this. He only thought that Gu Tongtian wanted to get the secret treasure of Long Clan. Long Fei immediately replied, I understand. This child will definitely not go to Open Dragon Domain. I will exhaust them to death. No, Long Zhanting coughed and said, you must open it within 2 years, and the faster the better. You currently have the 14th dragon ancestor in your body, so they must return to their original positions in order to obtain the power that belongs to them. There's no time. Xiao Fei, the dragon clan has no time, and the Long family has no time either. While they were talking, Long Zhanting's brows shook, and he shouted out, Fire Dragon, come out! Water Dragon, appear! Spirit Dragon, come out! Boom, boom, boom. Dragon ancestors rushed out one after another from Long Zhanting's body and quietly floated in midair. At this moment, the demon beast, within millions of kilometers of the mountain range, trembled in fear and didn't even dare to breathe. 32 dragon ancestors. The number was more than twice that of Long Fei, and every dragon ancestor's power was at peak realm. They were only missing returning to the dragon domain to get their original power. At this moment, Article 32, the dragon ancestor, looked at Long Fei as he stood up and said, Boss, Green Dragon Ancestor was excited. All of you are here. Ha ha ha. All out. All 46 dragon patriarchs have been gathered. All that's left is a sky tyrant dragon. Ha ha ha. 47 dragon patriarchs, 47 war generals, and the dragon clan's strongest 47 dragon warrior. Inside Long Fei's body, the dragon ancestor began to boil with excitement. Long Zhanting slightly said, Xiao Fei, you have to hurry open dragon domain. The safety of the dragon tribe, the safety of Long family, and the safety of God's martial continent all depends on you. The storm had arrived. In less than 2 years' time. Time was too short. A heavy burden pressed onto Long Fei's shoulders like a mountain. Seeing his father like this, Long Fei nodded and said, This child knows. This child will definitely rush to open dragon domain. Long Zhanting smiled faintly and said, That's good. I believe you can definitely do it. Before you find dragon domain, you must return to Nantian region. God's martial continent, 5 great regions. Immortal domain, dragon domain, dark domain, savage domain, even Nantian region did not have any powerhouse born for hundreds of years. He was not born on the surface, but the Nantian region is hiding many secrets. Through all these years, I suspect that the Nantian region is the dragon domain, and the dragon race is the Long family. However, I could not find the open dragon domains method, so I can only rely on you. All these years, Long Zhanting had been investigating everything related to the dragon race and Long family, the calamity of the dragon race. The great calamity that had happened when the powerhouse disappeared happened to be separated by 33 million years. He couldn't help but suspect that the Long family was the reincarnation of the dragon clan. He wanted to transform into a human and avoid the storm. However, the storm was still coming. Even if he transformed into a human, he wouldn't be able to dodge it. However, this was only Long Zhanting's guess. The dragon ancestors in his body were the same as Long Fei's. They didn't tell him anything. Long Fei nodded his head. I will remember. Long Zhanting said, Also, savage domain, you must be careful of a place. Savage Domain's domain treasure is a teleportation gate, and there is a channel that links to other realms in God's martial continent. You have to keep your eyes on Savage Domain because it is not only Gu Tong Tian who is staring at the Dragon Ancestor secret treasure, but countless other outer space powerhouse are also staring at secret treasure of Long Clan. Compared to Gu Tongtian's palace question of God, Savage Domain is even more of a threat. Something has happened to Nantian region. I'm worried that it's caused by Powerhouse. Don't go back to Nantian region until you find him. Understand? Long Fei nodded his head. I will remember. All right. Long Zhanting let out a long breath and said, That's good. I believe that you will definitely be able to solve all the mysteries of the gods' martial continent, the Dragon Clan, and the Long family. I believe that you will be able to solve all the mysteries of the entire gods' martial continent. The gods' martial continent had too many secrets. Why was it that no one had been able to break through for tens of millions of years? He was asking a question related to the god Emperor Fairyland. Long Zhanting did not know. Why would the dragon race enter the gods' martial continent and not another plane? Why did they escape from the divinity? 3,300,000 once a year? Why this number? God's martial continent was not as simple as he looked. What exactly was the relationship between the dragon race and Long family? All of these troubled Long Fei. As long as he opened the door to the dragon domain, all the mysteries would be solved. Long Fei asked, Father, where's Mother? He really wanted to know. It was rumored that Long Zhanting had come to Immortal Domain to find his mother, so where was he now? Long Zhanting's face sank and said, Regarding your mother's matter, when the time comes, I will tell you. I can only tell you now. Your mother is still alive. All right. Xiao Fei, you have 2 years, and the heavy burden of Long family rests on your shoulders. Long Zhanting said slightly, his aura growing weaker and weaker. Also, go back and tell your grandfather that I'm an unfilial son. I'm sorry. Finished. Long Zhanting's aura had completely disappeared. His body turned cold. Also at this moment, Long Fei's heart crumbled as he hysterically shouted, Father! At this moment, Long Zhanting's body suddenly disappeared into thin air. Yan Huang Ancestor slightly said, Don't worry, your father is still not dead yet. To be exact, he is not really dead yet. He should be in another space now. Death space. The pain in Long Fei's heart receded as he said, Ancestor, is there any way to save Father? The Yan Huang Ancestor shook his head and said, Your father signed a contract with the god of death. Unless we kill the god of death, he will only be able to burn his life force one step closer to death. Long Fei, if you want to save your father, there is only one way to become stronger. Everything that your father has done was for you, for the Long family. Now that he is no longer here, you have to shoulder the heavy burden of becoming a Long family. You have to take his place and complete the path that he is yet to complete. Long Fei, let's rise. Chapter 1034. Entering the Savage Domain. Chapter 1034. Entering the Savage Domain at night, starlight filled the sky. It was as if diamonds were embedded in a dark curtain as they shone brightly. Long Fei stood on top of the mountain and looked up at the night sky. When his father appeared, he didn't have the time to feel his father's love. According to Yan Huang Ancestor, his father had taken a step further from death. 10-odd years ago, when Long Zhanting fell into the abyss, he signed a contract with Death God at that moment. The strange rune on his face was the Death God runes. Only those who had signed a contract with the Grim Reaper would have that rune. Every time he went into closed-door cultivation, he would be in the death space. Every time he appeared, if he wanted to unleash power beyond his own, he would have to burn his life to call out power to the Grim Reaper. In God's Soul Mountain, with one heavy injury, he was able to endure 10,000 lightning strikes and enter the death space. This time again, he used his powerful strength to help Long Fei block everything. After these two heavy injuries, Long Zhanting's lifespan was almost up. In the death space, one of them was dressed in a black robe. Beneath the black robe was an empty void, and it was impossible to see his appearance clearly. His voice was gloomy and thick. You still have one more chance. Once you will be my slave. Long Zhanting's body recovered as he said, I will abide by our promise. The next time I appear, I hope that Lord Death God will give me his full strength. The Grim Reaper laughed coldly and said, I will give you everything you want, but shouldn't you give me some of what I want as well? Before he could finish, without waiting for Long Zhanting's reply, a black mist surged into Long Zhanting's body. He suddenly grabbed, and something that looked like a soul came out from his body. Long Zhanting screamed in pain. The pain of being peeled off was too unbearable. It was an incomparable pain. Ah-ha! Ah-ha! The death space burst into wild laughter. For more than 10 years, Long Zhanting had endured pain that ordinary people could not bear. He had never regretted it. A palace question of God, as Gu Tongtian bathed in the divine pond. If he was present, he would definitely be incomparably shocked because the amount of blood on top of Gu Tongtian's head was swiftly recovering. 5 billion HP was fully replenished in less than 2 hours. The depth was astonishing. Huff! Gu Tongtian exhaled deeply. A cold light flashed past his eyes as he said sinisterly, Long Fei, I will definitely not let you go. His heart was filled with killing intent. Being blasted to death by Long Fei, the scene in his mind made him feel incomparable rage. At this time, Western Devil Lord opened his eyes slightly and said indifferently, This outer space palace is really a good place. It only took you 4 hours to completely recover. Outer Space Palace was a sky battleship. There were many foreign technology here, and the deity's lake was the same as well. It possessed an extremely powerful regenerative ability. Moreover, he also had the ability to recreate a primordial spirit. Gu Tongtian laughed blandly. Master of Magic Tribe, Outer Space Palace is but a hair of 9 oxen compared to secret treasure of Long Clan. Wait until that brat Long Fei. We will wait until we get the secret treasures of Dragon Domain to enjoy 10,000 years of longevity. At that time, I won't believe that we can't break through the shackles of God's martial continent. The Western Devil Lord trembled and said, So you're saying you give up on hunting Long Fei? Gu Tongtian said, Without him, we would not be able to find Dragon Domain. Furthermore, he is Long Zhanting by his side right now. We have yet to figure out what realm his cultivation is at. Thinking about Long Zhanting, his heart turned cold again. He could not understand who in the gods' martial continent could block the pressure of the 6 of them combined attack. What kind of power did Long Zhanting obtain? Western Devil Lord also frowned and said, The energy aura on his body is completely different from that of God's martial continents. You must have had some fortuitous encounters in the years that you disappeared. Gu Tongtian laughed. Don't worry when we obtain the Dragon Domain's secret treasure, let alone Long Zhanting. Even if the Long family's most powerful powerhouse stood in front of me all those years ago, I would still be able to kill him. As long as he could obtain the Dragon Domain's secret treasure, as long as he got this, he could change everything. Western Devil Lord looked at Gu Tongtian, his heart feeling even more shocked. Looks like secret treasure of Long Clan must be a very powerful being. Oh, right, didn't you say that you can reconstruct my descendant's body? Gu Tongtian laughed. Very simple. I will help him revive now. This deity's lake possessed incomparable strength. As long as the primordial spirit is here, the body can be reconstructed and resurrected. However, he needed the power of the 8th level of the flying immortal stage, and only he knew this cultivation technique. He placed his primordial spirit into the deity's lake. The deity's lake began to surge and churn, quickly condensing. In just a few seconds, a human form took form, and half an hour passed. Young demon lord, Zhou Lai has resurrected. Zhou Lai's eyes slightly opened, looked at Western Devil Lord, and immediately said excitedly, Master. Western Devil Lord was also shocked. He looked at Gu Tongtian and said, Brother Gu is indeed someone with a great ability. This is nothing. Master of Magic Tribe, as long as you and I can obtain the secret treasures of Dragon Domain, the entire God's martial continent would be ours. Ha ha ha. Gu Tongtian laughed out loud. Western Devil Lord also laughed out loud. The supreme god that was killed by Long Fei had been revived, and Zhou Lai had also revived. Moreover, he had become even more powerful than before. Early morning. Fat Men Chun was the first to get up. Looking around at the silence, he called out, Boss. At this moment, those who had recovered woke up. Yunner slowly said, Big Brother Long Fei left last night. He told me to tell everyone to hurry to Nantian region today, 2 years later, after you've fully recovered. This is the space ring that Big Brother Long Fei gave me. There are immortal roots and immortal crystals that you need for cultivation inside. Long Fei left behind all his cultivation resources. The boss has left. Boss, why didn't you bring me along? Fat Men Chun was depressed. Everyone's gaze turned grim. Everyone's expression sank, feeling very uncomfortable, because they weren't strong enough. Qiu Wandao said, 2 years, we still have 2 years. In our eyes, we must become stronger than even the heavens. Only then can I help Long Fei share the burden. Everyone clenched their fists tightly. Everyone's heart became incomparably firm. Green Dragon Ancestor, are you sure this is the Dragon Tail Tomb? In a desert, no border visible. This is the Savage Domain, according to the direction that Green Dragon Ancestor pointed. The Dragon Tail Tomb was in the middle of all the Savage Domain. It was the first time Long Fei stepped into the Savage Domain. Green Dragon Ancestor replied, Dragon Tail Tomb is somewhere in the Savage Domain. As for the exact location, I'm not too sure either. The current Savage Domain is completely different from the previous Savage Domain. A completely different world. Boom. Suddenly, a beast suddenly rushed out with a powerful physique. His fist tore through the air and smashed heavily into Xiang Longfei. Chapter 1035. The 4 Great Vajra appear. Chapter 1035. The 4 Great Vajra appear. Too fast. The strength was too strong. At this moment, Long Fei actually didn't have time to react. His current cultivation was at the 1st level of the immortal stage. Even a 9th level demon beast would be able to easily crush him. But now, boom, a fist landed on Long Fei's face, sending him flying. He hit the ground heavily. A deep crater formed on the ground. This power, Long Fei frowned. How strange. This is the Savage Domain. How can a savage beast be so powerful? Seems like Father is right. Savage Domain is not as simple as he looks. In the deep pit, Long Fei slowly stood up, his eyes darkening as he said, faintly, If you want to hit me, I won't hit your face. If you want to touch me, I'll kill you. Shua. When it saw Long Fei stand up again, it became displeased, and with a change in speed, it threw a punch towards Long Fei, who was in the deep pit. Both of Long Fei's fists exploded. His body was as big as a mountain, and he did not wait for the savage beast to attack him. Boom! Smashing straight into the savage beast. He hugged it with both fists. Mountain hit fist. Zhang Xian's hands were like heavy cannons as they struck at the chest of the savage beast. The moment he landed, Long Fei's speed changed. From his vantage point, he struck the savage beast's head. Boom! The head split open. The system beeped. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 180,000 experience points for defeating a level 1 barbarian beast, 12,000 power of celestial, and 1 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining beast blood. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the strength of the barbarian beast. Do you wish to fuse it? Long Fei was dumbstruck. Damn, the experience of a level 1 beast is 1. 8 million? Isn't this too powerful? At this moment, before the dragon Salyer could devour the beast's blood essence, it was suddenly devoured by the Yan Huang ancestor, and his entire body started to tremble from excitement. The aura of the Chaos Realm. Chaos Realm's presence. I feel it. Ha ha ha. This is the aura of the Chaos Realm's demon beast. I have felt it. I have felt it. Yan Huang ancestor was excited like a child. They danced and danced. He continued to speak. Long Fei, Chaos Realm. This barbarian beast is a creature from the Chaos Realm. I am too familiar with this kind of power aura. I am too familiar with it. Yan Huang ancestor looked like she was about to go crazy. The feeling of wandering outside for millions of years and suddenly feeling the aura of home one day, that feeling was indescribable. Long Fei was actually very puzzled in his heart and said, Ancestor, this is obviously one of the savage domains of one of the 5 great regions of God's martial continent. Why is it Chaos Realm? Is there a mistake? The Yan Huang ancestor firmly said, That's right. That's absolutely right. The savage beast you killed just now was definitely a Chaos Realm's demon beast. It was only a 2nd generation or a 3rd generation demon beast. What do you mean? Long Fei did not understand. The Yan Huang ancestor said, It is the descendant of the Chaos Realm's demon beast. The blood essence of the savage beast is not pure, and its aura is not pure either, but I am sure that its ancestors came from the Chaos Realm. Your father is right. Savage domain is definitely not simple. Perhaps. This is the most dangerous place in God's martial continent. The domain treasure of savage domain might very well link to Chaos Realm. Yan Huang ancestor was getting more and more excited. For the first time in his life, he felt that he was so close to the Chaos Realm. This was the first time he was so close to his enemy. Long Fei was also secretly shocked. Are you saying that the Savage Domain's transmission gate has always been open, and that the Chaos Realm's powerhouses and the demon beasts have always been in the Savage Domain? Holy shit, what are they planning on doing? Isn't the rank of the Chaos Realm higher than that of the gods' martial continent? What are they planning to do in this lower plane? Could it be? Long Fei thought of the secret treasure of Long Clan, and the space between his eyebrows tightened. He cursed in his heart. F***K. Is there really that many people who are concerned about the secret treasure of Long Clan? Even the people from the Chaos Realm are fighting over it. The Yan Huang ancestor said, The dragon race is a powerful race within the divinity. If someone truly discovers that they have come to the gods' martial continent, there will definitely be an outer space powerhouse searching for them. There were still 2 years until the tribulation that occurs once every 33 million years, and at that time, the dragon domain would definitely reappear. If the dragon race couldn't withstand the tribulation, they would be killed. At that time, the secret treasures of the dragon domain became the object of competition among the other powerhouse. Even as long as you have an open dragon domain, those hidden powerhouse S that are waiting for an opportunity to make your move will all appear and are all plotting against you. Long Fei, if you can help me kill more savage beasts, especially those generation of savage beasts, I can quickly repair my primordial spirit. At that time, I will let you experience my true strength. Before the dragon domain opens, I will definitely be able to help you. The Yen Huang ancestor's voice carried a hint of begging, because he longed for it. It was the first time he had felt such desire. He longed to return to the chaos realm. Long Fei disdainfully said, "Damn, ancestor, aren't you looking down on me too much? Your matters are my matters. I promised you that I would help you return to the chaos realm, the super powerhouse of the chaos realm. Once he finished repairing it, what would happen if he could unleash all of his strength?" Long Fei was filled with incomparable anticipation. Yen Huang ancestor was so touched that she was about to cry. She muttered, "Long Fei, I will remember this favor. F***CK. Don't make me despise you." Long Fei laughed. Long Fei would need a helper, a powerful helper. At that time, if Yen Huang ancestor's primordial spirit was completely recovered, he would definitely be able to help Long Fei fend it off. Bring it on! Long Fei roared in his heart as he strode into the savage domain. Once the idea dispersed, the idea of the Yen Huang ancestor was also sensing the wild beasts that were lurking in the desert. To the left, Long Fei, it's here. Buzz. With a loud sound, a beast attacked quietly. Its speed was so fast that it made people's hair stand on ends. But this time, with Yen Huang ancestor's warning, Long Fei was not sent flying. His fists moved. He aimed at the incoming force and attacked. "I will see just how strong you are." Buzz. Savage domain, in an abyss. A door that was covered in carvings of all sorts of fiendish demons had all sorts of strange runes carved on it. It looked like an extremely powerful array formation, but also seemed like a gigantic magical treasure. The door was motionless, as if standing in the void. The power of the door linked to another world. Suddenly, the door was pushed open and a bright light shone. Then, two guards wearing different outfits walked out from the other end of the door. Behind these guards was a huge cage. There were 4 people locked up in the cage. Li Yuanba, Lin Yusheng, Sky Spirit, Arhut, for Great Vajra. Chapter 1036, People of the Chaos Realm. Chapter 1036, People of the Chaos Realm. Savage Domain kept a low profile. Because he was low-key, it was easy for him to be forgotten. Also because he was low-key, he appeared even more mysterious. God Emperor Academy had admitted defeat to the young master of the wilderness, Lei Zhong, but they did not contact each other after that incident. Long Fei only knew about the production of ores here. Boom! A 3rd-generation beast fell, and the blood essence that Long Fei had released was instantly absorbed by the Yan Huang ancestor. Long Fei also sat on the ground and panted heavily. Damn, these savage beasts are too savage. Long Fei was panting, his clothes were drenched, and he was sweating profusely. He looked tired. It was tiring, but Long Fei was satisfied. Every time he fought with a savage beast, Long Fei would use his full strength. He did not use any techniques, fought head-on with his strength, or defended against it. After the Yan Huang ancestor had devoured the blood essence of the savage beast, he said, "These are only the third generation of savage beasts. I'm afraid that with your current cultivation, you will not be able to fend them off even if you were to meet them for the first generation." The Yan Huang ancestor said, truthfully, the Chaos Realm was much more powerful than the gods' martial continent. Demon beasts were also much stronger. Second generation, third generation savage beasts were at most the wild beasts of Chaos Realm. They didn't even have the qualifications to become demon beastess. It could be seen just how savage the Chaos Realm was. Long Fei muttered, "Is Chaos Realm that strong?" Yan Huang ancestor's eyes flashed with a bright light, and he said, "Of course it's powerful. Chaos Realm is connected to 10,000 realms, and God's martial continent's first stop after flying into the void is Chaos Realm. The Chaos Realm is the true heaven for warriors. This is the real powerhouse world. There is absolutely no comparison between the gods' martial continent and the gods' martial continent." Long Fei was not shocked, but instead had an excited expression as he muttered, "Really? In other words, the Chaos Realm had piles of bosses? Ha ha ha. It must be great to blow up their chrysanthemums." The thing that Long Fei was thinking of was about to explode. 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 If the game didn't kill bosses, then what was there to play? Buzz. A powerful aura suddenly surged forth. Yan Huang ancestor immediately warned and said, "Long Fei, be careful." "Understood." Long Fei responded instantly and leaped out fiercely, suspended in midair. His eyes were slightly startled as he asked, "Human?" "A sneak attack." The place he was standing on earlier was a young man around the age of 20. The man's eyes contained some astonishment, but, however, most of them were filled with contempt and disdain. Seeing Long Fei dodge his attack, his eyes turned sinister and said in disdain, "You can actually dodge my attack? Then let's see how many moves you can dodge." Before he could finish his sentence, his figure disappeared. At this moment, the air shook, and the man's voice appeared in midair. With a palm strike at Xiang Long Fei, he shouted, "Lie down obediently." Bam! Long Fei's figure turned into a ball of white mist and instantly disappeared. It was an avatar. The instant the young man made his move, Long Fei used multiple shadows, while he himself was suspended behind the man's back. The corner of his mouth hooked up. "You just lay down obediently." A palm struck down, vicious strength. Towards those who had assaulted him, he would definitely not show mercy. The power of the immortal realm gushed out. Buzz! The palm shattered the air, and the palm heavily smashed onto the man's back. Long Fei was secretly pleased in his heart. This palm strike will at least take half your life. However, what he didn't expect was that the man's body only lowered slightly and didn't suffer too much damage. A number floated in the groove above his head. 1F*CK. Long Fei immediately cursed in his heart. Although the power of this palm was not the full strength of his palm, it was still the power of the immortal realm. What the heck? Moreover, under that palm, Long Fei's palm went numb, as if he had just struck a thick layer of steel. His entire arm shook, as if it were about to dislocate. His own damage was higher than the man's. Are all the warriors in savage domain this abnormal? Then why wasn't Lei Zhong this strong back then? Long Fei did not understand. However, the Yen Huang ancestor said, "It's not that you're not strong enough, it's that he has the Chaos Realm's defensive battle armor." The Chaos Realm's defensive armor? Then this person is from the Chaos Realm? Long Fei asked. Yen Huang ancestor replied, "No, he does not have the slightest bit of Chaos Realm chi on him. At most, he is just a disciple of Chaos Realm. Or something else. Damn, it's really boring. I thought the Chaos Realm was planning to invade the gods' Martial Continent. I was thinking the warriors in the Chaos Realm must have a lot of experience." Long Fei muttered, the instant his palm struck down. The man was enraged, his fists moved, he flipped and punched towards Long Fei. "You dog, I will cripple you." Power surged out as an even more powerful strength was released from the young man's body. Long Fei didn't give him any chance. He cupped his fists together. Looking down from above, he could see the sound of heavy thunder bombarding the air. Battle axe style, heavy artillery. Roar! Roar! Two roars of the furious ape could be heard in the void as a gigantic axe shadow smashed down on the young man's head. Boom! This time, Long Fei's strength was raised to the peak of the immortal realm. A thick barrier automatically expanded above the young man's head. However, in that instant, cracks appeared on it, and his own body was blasted downwards in midair. A deep crater formed on the ground. The young man's hair was in a bun as it scattered about, becoming incomparably miserable. Staring at Long Fei, who was in the sky, he roared hysterically, "I will kill you!" Anger. Long Fei started to feel a little unwell in his heart. In 2 attacks, the damage is not even 100. This guy's defense is too heaven-defying. But Chaos Realm's defense armor, I like it. Hee. His figure moved. Long Fei abruptly dropped and coldly laughed. "I want to kill you too." Shwa. He rushed towards the man in the hole. "Blast you!" At this moment, Yen Huang ancestor suddenly shouted, "Be careful!" Long Fei was startled. He already had a divine reaction, but a wave of overwhelming power came like lightning. No matter how fast his reaction speed was, it was useless. Whoosh, 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 asterisk from all directions, powers interweaved like a net. It instantly surrounded Long Fei. Moreover, in that moment, the giant net retracted, and Long Fei, like someone who had fallen into a trap, was immediately lifted. Looking up, there was a spirit treasure floating above his head. That huge net of power was released from this spiritual treasure. The giant net shrank. It firmly bound Long Fei. Long Fei was captured. It was also at this moment that a group of people walked up the mountain. The person leading was a woman with a body armor, but it was very weak, a bikini-like armor. At her crotch was an incomparably savage beast, a savage beast of the first generation, someone from the Chaos Realm. Chapter 1037, Man of Evolution. Chapter 1037, Man of Evolution Long Fei, was flung into the air. Being tightly bound by Zhang Chang's giant tail, he was unable to move, and the power in his body was also suppressed by a huge power. This power came from the spirit treasure used to release the giant net. Long Fei struggled with all his might, to no avail. At this moment, a lady riding a savage beast that resembled a white tiger said coldly, "Stop wasting your energy. You won't be able to struggle free." The Yan Huang ancestor also said, "She is right. This is a spirit treasure of the chaos realm. You can't break out of it. The more you struggle out of it, the more tightly you are bound up. In the chaos realm, warriors use it to catch their mounts. But who would have thought they were actually used to capture humans in the gods' martial continent?" Long Fei was not happy. "What exactly is this thing?" Yan Huang ancestor said, "Luo Ling Nexus, Chaos Realm, is a very common method to capture mounts." Long Fei said, "Since you said it is an ordinary spiritual treasure, then you must have a way to break it, right?" "No way," Yan Huang ancestor replied. "My primordial spirit has not been completely restored, and I am unable to affect the power of Chaos Realm. If it's the power of this world, I might be able to do it." Long Fei was speechless. "Damn you, to think that you're even the so-called heavenly sovereign of the Chaos Realm. Great Emperor-level powerhouse. You're really too embarrassing." Long Fei held his heart as he spoke. When the beautiful woman saw the pained look on Long Fei's face, she could not help but ask coldly, "What happened?" "Your father's liver hurts." Long Fei gave a disdainful snort and said, "Who are you people? Why are you capturing me?" Not just him. Behind the group of women, there was a huge iron cage with more than a dozen people inside. Just like Long Fei, they had all come to the savage domain to take a risk and were captured by Luo Ling Nexus. The woman didn't have any expression on her face. She didn't answer and just said, "Lock him up." As soon as he finished, one of the elderly IDS beside him moved, controlling Luo Ling Net, and in the end, Long Fei was released. At this moment, the young man who was smashed to the ground by Long Fei rushed forward and fiercely smashed his fist into Long Fei's face. One punch sent Long Fei flying. Long Fei's strength was restricted, and he could not resist at all. He smashed onto the ground with blood trickling down the corner of his mouth as the anger in his heart burned. The man coldly snorted, "Keep being arrogant for Lao Zi's sake. You dog, who do you think you are when you fight with me?" The man walked towards Xian Long Fei step by step, his eyes filled with killing intent. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister and gloomy, his hands and feet were bound, but that did not mean that he was powerless to retaliate. He still had 46 dragon patriarchs in his body. There were also 3 giant demons, and there were even 6 endless waves of Galen and Nox. Without waiting for the man to approach, the woman on top of the white tiger shouted, "Junior brother, you're enough." The man didn't stop at all. "I'm going to kill him. This dog actually dared to attack me. I want to let him know just how powerful I am." The lady's eyes darkened and said, "Now is the time for servants. This time we must rely on them to escort us to Nantian region. His cultivation is not bad and should be able to help us complete our mission." "You can't touch him." The man ignored him. Long Fei's heart trembled. To escort someone to Nantian region? What is this? Nantian region? Savage domain? Could it be? Something happened to Nantian region because of you, savage domain? Long Fei's heart was stirred up, his eyebrows tightened. He originally wanted to summon out the giant demon, but now he endured it. He wanted to know what exactly was going on in the savage domain. The man didn't stop, and the killing intent in his eyes didn't diminish in the slightest. The girl's expression changed slightly as her voice became ice cold. Could it be that you want to disobey your master's orders? These words came out. The young man stopped, his eyes sinister as he stared at Long Fei, and said, "Brat, remember this. Your life is mine." The corner of Long Fei's mouth hooked up as he said faintly, "You better remember this. I will use your life as compensation for the punch just now." "Humph! Just with trash like you? You overestimate yourself." The man disdainfully snorted, then turned to look at the beautiful woman and said, "Senior sister, in the future, don't use master to pressure me." His voice was cold, very arrogant. The lady did not fight with him. Instead, she said to the guards beside her, "Hold him tightly in the cage. Our capture mission this time is finally over. Return to Savage City." The man glanced at Long Fei from the corner of his eyes and sneered in his heart, "When we get to Savage City, see how I'll kill you." And then the man moved his hand, runes seeping out from his palm and striking the ground. "Savage Wolf King, come out." Just like the spirit communication technique in the Shadow Fire world, the power of the rune exploded. A 3-meter-tall wolf with hair as thick as steel was summoned. The white tiger beneath the woman began to grow restless, continuously pulling away from the Wolf King. Obviously, the barbarian Wolf King was of a higher level. Long Fei's eyes lit up, and he said excitedly, "This savage Wolf King is actually a boss, and its level is not low either." Yan Huang Ancestor also became excited and said, "This mount's blood is very pure, gulp." The two of them were like two madmen. Greedy lunatic. Long Fei wanted to explode it when he saw a good thing. This mount was not ordinary. Long Fei was lifted by two people and thrown into the iron cage. During this time, the woman on the white tiger gave Long Fei a glance, then said in the direction of the sun, "Return to Savage City." In the iron cage, the cultivation of over a dozen men wasn't simple. The lowest was at level 3, while the highest was at level 4. "Why did you catch us?" Long Fei probed. None of them replied. Their eyes were filled with helplessness. To them, their cultivations could shake the world in any place in God's martial continent. They were the overlords of a region, but they were caught by the demon beast among the people. The blow was too great. Long Fei asked again, "Who are these people?" It is impossible for there to be such a strong person in savage domain. A man in his 30s exhaled and said, "These people are not from the savage domain. They are all evolved people." As soon as he finished, everyone looked at him. The man laughed bitterly and said, "Do you know about Savage Domain's domain treasure transmission gate? These people have entered the transmission gate. Their strength, flesh have all evolved. We are no match for him." Long Fei's face was filled with shock as he muttered, "Damn, someone who underwent biochemical modification." "Ancestor, is this the case?" The Yan Huang Ancestor said slightly, "Theoretically, it is similar to what he said. Although these people are not from the Chaos Realm, they have indeed entered the Chaos Realm and obtained some sort of transformation." What is the Savage Domain doing? Chapter 1038, The White Tiger's Daughter. Chapter 1038, The White Tiger's Daughter. Things were getting more complicated. All the evolved people have appeared. Yan Huang Ancestor was secretly shocked. No wonder these people could control Chaos Realm's soul treasure, so these people could obtain Chaos Realm's power. Who is it? Who's doing this? Why did he choose God's martial continent? Is it related to the secret treasures of the Dragon Clan? Yan Huang Ancestor also felt that this matter was not simple. Long Fei was not worried about all these. He did not care about those evolved people or those from the Chaos Realm. What he wanted to know was, what did they do to the Nantian region? Late at night, the stars in the desert were incomparably beautiful. The bikini-armored woman's team had a total of 7 people. The two elders controlling Luo Ling Nexus, two guards, a warrior responsible for driving the carriage. The other two were the woman captain and the young man. While walking, they did not talk much, but Long Fei noticed that although the woman held the position of leader in the group, she was actually isolated. The other 5 were led by young men. She, as the captain, was completely overthrown. The lady patrolled the iron cage once, and Long Fei immediately asked, "Can you tell me why you want to capture us?" The woman didn't reply. She only glanced at Long Fei. Following that, the woman stood at a high place as if she was standing guard, and also seemed to be thinking about something. Long Fei kept looking at him, and asked the Yan Huang ancestor in his heart, "Where are the Yin soldiers?" Yan Huang ancestor said, "They have already arrived. As long as you give the order, they can immediately appear." "All right, keep your distance. The abilities of these evolved people are still unclear. Don't let them discover us." Long Fei reminded in his heart, last time after the ghost soldiers came out, Long Fei did not summon them into the divine seal of Styx, but allowed them to freely move around, like demon beastess to kill demon beastess. This time, Long Fei had brought them to the savage domain. There were many places that Long Fei could not go to, but they could enter them. The Hell Core was a powerful force. Yan Huang ancestor said, "I already did as you said. Since you've been captured, you should take a good rest. You haven't slept well in such a long time. I'll think of a way to remove the Luo Ling net binding you." Yan Huang ancestor felt his heart ache. His relationship with Long Fei was that of a brother, master, and servant, and also like an ancestor. He had watched Long Fei walk all the way here. Only he knew how much suffering Long Fei had endured up to this point. No martial artist could do such a thing. Long Fei's eyes closed slightly, and in less than half a minute, he fell into a deep sleep. He didn't know how long he slept. Suddenly, Yan Huang ancestor's anxious voice sounded out in his heart. "Long Fei, wake up, something's wrong." Long Fei suddenly woke up, looked around him, and saw that everything was very quiet. His heart was startled for a moment, and then asked, "What's the situation?" At this moment, one of the ghost soldiers standing outside the cage said in a hurry, "Boss, for small teams like this one are rapidly advancing towards here. They are armed to the teeth and have a strong killing intent. I'm worried that they are coming for you. For squads." Long Fei's brain spun as he flew, saying, "Go back first. You can listen to my orders at any time." "Yes, sir." Long Fei then asked, "Ancestor, how much time do I have to undo the restrictions on my body?" Yan Huang ancestor said, "I still need a bit more time." While Long Fei was sleeping, he had been constantly exhausting his own profound qi to help Long Fei remove the bindings. His current strength was still very weak. It would take a long time to unravel the power of the Chaos Realm's soul treasure. He had to exhaust his profound qi just to do this. Normal power would not be able to do it. Long Fei frowned and immediately woke up the person in the iron cage. "Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up," he said. None of these people had low cultivation bases. They woke up at once with any sound. The few of them looked at Long Fei and grumbled, "What are you guys arguing about?" "Brat, if you don't sleep, we still want to sleep." Long Fei said, "Can any of you tell me why they arrested me? Just how many savage domain-s do they have like that? Did you not hear it clearly during the day? Catch us and send us to the Nantian region." However, before we did that, he brainwashed us. It could also be said that it was an evolution. Only then could we completely listen to his orders, and only then could we do things that they could not do. Kid, do you understand now? The few of them were very unhappy. Being disturbed while sleeping was a very unpleasant thing. Long Fei's mind started working frantically. Evolved us? Brainwashing? Then, could those 4 teams be here to snatch us away? Is it a kind of achievement? Or who? Did they come to target this team? Long Fei could not understand, but he was sure that danger was approaching. He suddenly stood up and faced the woman who was still trembling on the distant hill and shouted, "The night is long, and I have no intention to sleep. Beautiful lady, come over here and chat." Everyone in the iron cage was looking at Long Fei. He had a stupefied expression on his face. They had a chat at night, and Long Fei's tone was filled with flirtatiousness and flirting, teasing the captain. Is this kid insane? The woman didn't look back. Long Fei muttered in his heart, "Stupid woman." And then Long Fei smiled obscenely. "Beautiful lady, please give me face. It's boring if you stand guard by yourself. Why don't I go out and accompany you? Whatever you want." Looking at how alluring your clothes are, you must be a very developed woman. Tell me, how many people have dared to mess with you? From your physique and your mount, you should be the daughter of the white tiger, right? Ha ha. I've never been in a white tiger girl before. I heard that this kind of woman is very fierce, even more ferocious than the Black Widow. Once in a bed, not to mention a man, even the bed wouldn't be able to take it. Is there no man who can satisfy you? Don't worry, I can definitely do it. I've trained for a whole night and have been able to hold up the sky for so long. Ha ha ha. These were all nonsense said by Long Fei, but there was one thing he was right about. This woman was truly the daughter of the white tiger. The campsite woke up with Long Fei's noise. The lady was enraged by Long Fei. The sword at his waist moved, and he charged forward with a murderous look on his face. Inside the young man's tent, the man's eyebrows tightened as he asked, "What's going on outside? Can you shut him up?" He looked impatient. An old man quickly replied, "The slaves that were captured this afternoon are really teasing the captain. The captain is also angry. He will stop after a while." The young man was stunned and said, ha ha ha, taking liberties with that male matron of the heavenly star realm? Is he courting death? A slave captured today. His life is mine. The man's eyes turned sinister as he immediately walked out of the tent. Chapter 1039. Threatened by the Boss. Chapter 1039. Threatened by the boss, everyone in the camp was woken up by Long Fei. Everyone's face was filled with anger. At the same time, they felt the edge of the cage again, with the look of people watching a good play. Chasing down the captain, let alone a slave, even they didn't dare to do it. Especially since the white tiger's daughter, that Long Fei mentioned, had even angered the nerve in Tian Xing's heart. He would definitely not let Long Fei off lightly. Even though Tianxin was wearing a 3-point armor while being exposed, she was a real man. She was exceptionally fierce and had angered her. There was no good ending for her. "Kid, you're tired of living. I've never seen anyone as unafraid of death as you, as long as you don't implicate us." Everyone in the iron cage kept their distance from Long Fei, afraid that they would be caught in the crossfire. Tian Xing Jian's sword flashed with a cold light. He arrived in front of the iron cage and stared at Long Fei. "If you don't shut up, I'll smash your mouth to pieces." Long Fei said, "You won't. You can try." Long Fei said, "If you smash my mouth to pieces, I can't say it. You are about to be surrounded." As soon as he finished, Sky Star's eyes turned cold as he looked at Long Fei seriously. At this time, the young man walked over and laughed. "Brat, we are surrounded. In this savage domain, who dares to touch us? It's more like seeking death." The man wasn't afraid at all. This was because no one in the savage domain dared to touch them. Long Fei smiled slightly. "What if it's one of your own?" The man glared with disdain. our own people are even more impossible. Do you even know who I am? If anyone dares to touch me—" Before he could finish his sentence, a special arrow had pierced through his body. Shwa! An arrow pierced through his chest, knocking him to the ground. He spat out a mouthful of blood and shouted in panic, "Hurry and save me!" The spirit armor defense on his body was instantly penetrated. He was also instantly scared to the point of peeing. Tianxin looked at Long Fei and immediately said, "Enemy attack!" Long Fei said, "Hurry up and release me. I can help you too." Tianxin ignored them, saying to the two guards, "You guys keep an eye on them. Don't let anyone snatch them away." Finished. The heavenly star idea moved, summoning the white tiger. With a flip of its body, it leapt onto the mountain and rushed straight to the hillside, watching the hunting squad charge from all directions. Tianxin's gaze grew tense as he cried out, "Third Elder, why must you do this?" In the middle of the team, one of the elders shivered before laughing. "Tianxin truly is a heavenly star. To be able to guess who I am, this is good as well. It also saves me the time of hiding my face and making it seem like I'm stealing from a dog." The old man walked out. The four teams quickly surrounded them. The elder laughed coldly. Tianxian, I will give you two a chance. Kneel before me, take this pill, and I will spare your lives." While they were talking, the old man took out two black pills. The young man's name was Tianxian. When he saw the pill, his face immediately changed. "Third Elder, from today onwards, I will follow your lead. I will be absolutely loyal to you, but this poisoned soul pill doesn't need to be consumed, does it? I swear to God, I will be loyal to you." His chest was still pierced with arrows. Initially, he had an arrogant expression, but now he instantly kneeled on the ground and begged for mercy. The old man laughed coldly. "Since you are loyal to me, you should consume this poison. I will give you the antidote as soon as possible." Tianxin said, "Third Elder, why did you do this?" The old man said, "It's very simple. I also want to get the secret treasure of Long Clan. I have been in the Tian family for so many years, yet I have not obtained anything." As he spoke, his eyes couldn't help but look at the iron cage. His gaze was fixated on Long Fei, who was in the iron cage. With excitement in his eyes, Long Fei's heart trembled. Could it be that he knows my identity? Almost all of the powerhouse as present wanted to take control of Long Fei and be the first one to obtain the secret treasure of Long Clan. The third elder was no exception. It could be said he had been waiting for an opportunity all these years. Now the chance had come. Tianxin said, "Third elder, the secret treasure of Long Clan is the target of the patriarch. If you come here to get rid of us, you probably won't get the secret treasure of Long Clan either." The third elder sneered. "I won't be able to kill you, but—" He looked up, once again locking onto Long Fei. He said, "If I obtain him, then I have gained the secret treasure of Long Clan." Everyone looked at Xiang Longfei. Tianxian laughed coldly and said, "Him? He's just a slave, and getting him is equivalent to getting the secret treasure of Long Clan? Third elder, are you sure you're not crazy?" The third elder did not expose him. Instead, he looked at Long Fei with incomparable seriousness, and the excitement in his eyes became more and more intense the more he looked at him. Tianxin was shocked, saying, "He is the son of the prophet. Is it Long Fei?" As soon as he finished, Tianxian was also shocked. Long Fei's heart went cold. "Damn, so you are here for me? My ass. Ancestor, can you hurry up? These fellows are after me." Long Fei was panicking inwardly. His hands and feet were bound, his strength restricted, and he felt like he was a fish on a chopping block, waiting to be slaughtered. "That won't do. Third elder, you must be mistaken. How could Long Fei appear in the savage domain?" Tianxin didn't understand either. However, her instincts told her the man in the iron cage was Long Fei. The third elder slowly walked to the side of the iron cage and looked at Long Fei. As long as you consume this pellet, I will grant you your freedom. Also, I will bring you to find this dragon tail tomb. Is this why you came to the savage domain? It was as if he could see through Long Fei. The third elder laughed sinisterly and said, Long Fei, am I right? Long Fei's mouth hooked up as he laughed. I'm curious. How did you know my identity? How do you know my purpose? I have been keeping an eye on you in the immortal domain, so I know everything that happened in the God Emperor city a few days ago. There is only one reason why you suddenly disappeared, and you suddenly appeared in the savage domain. You also want the power of the dragon's tail, open dragon domain. You really want to take revenge. Fight the palace question of God, right? Join hands with me, and I will clear all obstacles for you. As long as you consume this pill, nothing will be a problem. The third elder was extremely confident. He was Long Fei's only choice. Long Fei's fate was in his hands. However, Long Fei had never liked others threatening him. What's more, he was even threatened by a boss. Chapter 1040, Barbarian King, 5-second true man. Chapter 1040, Barbarian King, 5-second true man. Third elder, boss. Moreover, there was even a hint of a light purple-golden light on his body. Violet light, boss. Long Fei became excited and said, What if I say no? The third elder teasingly said, It doesn't matter. You're already bound by the Luo Ling net. If you don't eat it, I can force the pill into your mouth. It's just that your methods are a bit more barbaric. It seems like you're sure of me? Long Fei said. The third elder said, Of course. Long Fei, you don't have a choice. I am your only choice. In this world, perhaps only I know the position of the dragon tail tomb. As long as you consume this medicinal pill, I'll take you to find it. Long Fei asked in his heart, Ancestor, how much longer do we have to wait? Yan Huang Ancestor said, There's still a little more time, just a little. He had to break through the shackles of Luo Ling taking advantage of the unguarded situation. Long Fei pretended to ponder for a moment and said, Seems like I don't have a choice. The third elder laughed complacently. You are a smart person. You should know how to choose. Long Fei, we are the only ones who can cooperate in Open Dragon Domain, and I have ways to save your family in Nantian region. Huff. Clenching his fists under his sleeves, Long Fei bit his teeth. Seems like the people from the savage domain have moved me to join them. These evolved people. Long Fei's heart sank, looked at the third elder, and said, I promise you, but before that, I want you to do something for me. The third elder said, Speak. Long Fei stared at Tian Xian and said, Kill him. Tian Xian's gaze froze for a moment before he immediately said angrily, Brat, you King want to die, don't you? The third elder shot a glance at Tian Xian from the corner of his eyes. Tian Xian immediately knelt on the ground. Third uncle, I am your nephew. You wouldn't really kill me for an outsider, would you? His identity was very special. However, in order to obtain Long Fei, he could sacrifice everything. The third elder coldly said, My good nephew, please let your third uncle suffer for your sake. Kill him. And then 2 black-clothed men walked up, releasing a strong aura from their bodies, directly blocking the sky profound. Tian Xian was so scared that his entire body was trembling, and he said, Third uncle, don't kill me, senior sister, save me, save me. In front of an ordinary martial artist, he was extremely arrogant. But in front of these people, why did his little cultivation not count? The sword in Tian Xing's hand moved, and his body descended, blocking the path of the 2 men. He said, Third elder, I'm afraid that what you're doing isn't good. The third elder sneered. If people don't take themselves seriously, then what is a nephew? Even if he were my own son, I would not put him in my eyes. Tianxin, you still have a choice. When the time comes. He controlled everything. Tianxing's gaze hardened as he said, Tian clan's plan cannot be ruined by you. Third elder, please forgive us. As soon as he finished, the sword in Tianxin's hand moved, a golden light flashed, and the might of an ancient holy artifact was released. At the same time, the white tiger beside her also became angry. Roar! There was also a set of golden armor on his body. Tianxin made his move. The corners of the third elder's mouth turned cold. You overestimate yourself. Kill them all. Leave none alive. Over 30 black warriors moved at the same time. At the same time, Tianxian let out a loud shout and summoned the barbarian wolf king. He stepped forward and shouted loudly, swift as the wind, pass through. Roar! The barbarian wolf king roared as it charged into the air. The third elder's eyes widened. Don't let him escape. He didn't have any other abilities in the sky profound realm, so he was first class in terms of escaping. Moreover, this savage wolf king had a special type of sacred art, but its speed was extremely fast, so fast that it could pierce through the void. Swish! The shadow of the wolf disappeared. The third elder's expression changed as he stared at Tianxing. Die! Boom! He took a step forward. His palms were like thunder. Not giving Heavenly Star any chance to retaliate, he directly sent her flying. Without waiting for her to land, he quickly threw his fists. Bang, bang, bang. Tianxing spat out a mouthful of blood. Boom! The two fists struck the sky star on the side of the cage. The armor on his chest split open, and 2 balls of white flesh seemed to rush out. At this moment, Tianxin's face was deathly pale. When she was sent flying, everyone in Tianxin's squad, with the exception of the fleeing Tianxian, was killed. The third elder was enraged and said, chase after him. You must kill him before the savage city arrives. Over 30 men in black rushed into the darkness. At this moment, the third elder turned around to the side of the cage and grabbed the dying Tianxing. I originally wanted to leave you with your dog life, but you don't know how to treasure it. The white tiger's daughter. Humph! The third elder clutched at Tianxing's throat as he slowly flew into the air. Die! In this instant, Yan Huang ancestor sent a message. Long Fei unlocked. Shua. Void walk. Long Fei instantly erupted and directly used Cassidon's ability to break out of the cage and land behind the third elder's back. He roared in his heart, Super Scion, 3rd level evolution. Boom! Blonde hair shot up into the sky, golden energy, and flames crazily ignited. Long Fei directly held onto the sky-burning dragon gun in his hand, and it moved, 9th level unparalleled, open. Burning heaven, explode with your strength. Buzz. A buzzing sound came out from the spear body, under Super Saiyan mode, and then fused with the in-skill move spirit of the Yuan Long. Long Fei merged all of his power into it. He shouted, Super Yuan Long has no god. Die! Long Fei held onto the dragon spear and struck with all his might. The third elder disdainfully said, With just you? Long Fei, I am very clear of your strength. You can't kill me with your strength. However, before he could finish his words, the divine power of the Yuan Long pierced into the body of another person, that kind of power which was neither life nor death. That destructive power caused an incomparable impact within his body. Even if she was an evolved person from the 1st generation. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for instantly killing him. When his HP fell, so did his blood. Instantly, his eyes were filled with disbelief. He was very clear about Long Fei's strength. His strength could be compared to the flying fairyland, but why was he instantly killed? I don't understand. Yuan Long God's spear possesses destructive power. If they don't die, then they die. It had the chance to cause an instant kill. Long Fei was also stunned. He said excitedly, "Damn, an instant kill." Also at this moment, Long Fei's heart tightened, and he immediately said, "Release the striking energy value." Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing third elder of Tian family, for obtaining 800,000 experience, 120,000 power of celestial points, and 10 energy values points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Luo Ling Net. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Gold Sun Sword. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Desolate Stone. Ding! Congratulations player Long Fei for defeating third elder of Tian family to obtain a special reward from the system. The reward item is the Barbarian King Call card, piece by piece. Long Fei was stunned. A real 5 seconds man Barbarian King. Chapter 1041. Long Fei lost his body. Chapter 1041. Long Fei lost his body the moment the system beep ended. Long Fei was stupefied. He could never have imagined that happiness would come so suddenly. However, and this is not the end. The system sounded out once again. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a special reward. The reward is a saint rank skill, Barbarian King Bash. Do you want to cultivate it? Reward of the Barbarian King card. This was only a reward. At the same time, Long Fei also received a special reward, which was that he had obtained the Barbarian King skill, a 5-second real man, an immortal, indestructible existence. Long Fei was stunned in place as he muttered, damn it, system. I'm going to love you to death. Why are you so awesome?" The idea moved, afraid that the Barbarian King crash would disappear, and said, "Cultivate." Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for training Barbarian King Blast for obtaining 1,000 experience points, 1,000 power of celestial, and 1,000 special reward points. Cultivation method, rushing Barbarian King grade. Saint rank level, 0/1000 description. Undying, indestructible description 2. Duration, 60 seconds. The higher the level of the technique, the longer the duration. Oh my God! A real man in 5 seconds is nothing. I only need 60 seconds to set the limit. Amazing. Amazing. Truly amazing. Long Fei's blood started to boil, just like the whole world. With this skill, my fighting style will be even more perfect. To be more accurate, my fighting style and the Barbarian King's ultimate move have been perfectly combined. Long Fei was excited. He had always had a bad temper just because he couldn't accept it. In battle, he was even more desperate than Sanlang, and he wouldn't stop until he was dead. With the Barbarian King's big move as a safeguard, he would be able to unleash his best fighting techniques. Long Fei smirked as he thought to himself, just you wait. Gu Tong Tian. They were very clear about what was happening there after I wash your ass clean. The magic tribe's army had been destroyed, and the God Emperor City had turned into a pile of ruins. All of these were done by Long Fei himself. She's dying. Long Fei was like a demon. Quickly calmed down from his excitement. Looking at the dying Tianxing, he said in his heart, Long Fei did not ask any further. I still need to find out. He took out the dragon Xian region through her, activated the power of celestial, is there any way to save her? Crash!
Long Fei
did not have any healing pellets
as
on
Long
him.
Fei said.
Moreover,
Run for your
Long
life.
Fei had to save
Don't ever come
Tianqing
back
to the
purpose of the Heavenly
Star arrest,
and then
was to send him
Long
to the
Fei
Nantian
carried
region.
his Heavenly Star
They could only find
and
out
flew in the
through
other
her.
direction.
So Long
He
Fei
became
didn't want her to
gloomy
die
and asked,
Long Fei
Ancestor,
looked at the powerhouse
didn't you have a lot
in the
of
iron
ideas in the
cage
past?
and asked,
Isn't it just
which
saving
one of you has
someone?
a healing pellet?
How could you not?
They all shook their
Yan
heads.
Huang ancestor
Those who had
slightly
looked down
said,
on Long
there is a
Fei
way,
just now
and it's
all
the
became
simplest,
upright, their
fastest,
faces
and
filled
most
with fear,
crude way,
as if they
it
were
depends on whether you are
extremely
willing
afraid of
to
Long
or
Fei.
not.
Long Fei said anxiously, "What are you talking about? What else are you willing to say? Hurry up and say it." Yan Huang ancestor said, "Body fusion." What? Long Fei was a little confused. What do you mean by body fusion? The Yan Huang ancestor said, "The devouring vein I refined for you can swallow power, blood vein S, fuse with it, release it, and at the same time, it can also absorb damage. If you can enter her body and use the devouring vein's power, you can help her absorb the injuries in her body. This is the fastest way, and the only way to do it. Brat, I let you take advantage of me." Long Fei was stunned. He had never thought that it would be this way. He probed with a question. "Ancestor, are you playing with me?" Cough, cough, cough. "Kid, it's fine if you don't believe me. How could I lie to you? Besides, this does not harm you in the slightest. You will only take advantage of her. This woman must have a good appearance, body, and figure. She is truly a beauty." Yan Huang ancestor huffed and puffed as he said in his heart, "This is all for your own good." However, he did not finish his sentence. Yan Huang ancestor tried to agitate him. "I've already said the way to save you or not. It's up to you. All right, I'm going to go into closed-door cultivation. Don't disturb me if there's nothing else. Let me remind you, this woman still has 2 hours to live." Finished. Yan Huang ancestor had completely disappeared from Long Fei's body. Long Fei looked at the heavenly star in his arms. Indeed, the Yan Huang ancestor was right. He had to look good, have a chest, a body, fair skin, long legs, and he had to be a knight. The 3-point armor had been shattered from the chest and was located in the insides of his 2 long legs. Gudong! Long Fei did not dare to think further. Looking at the forest in the distance, he clenched his fists and thought to himself, "All right." With flying footsteps, he quickly rushed into the small forest. He entered her sea of consciousness, not caring if she could hear him or not, and said, "I'm sorry. I was just trying to save you. If I didn't do that, you would have died. I'm sorry." Long Fei was not a good person, but he was not one of those evil people. Not to mention, this kind of thing, he liked it when both sides agreed to it. Only then would he be able to show his strengths. Gudong! Long Fei's Adam's apple rolled. He swallowed it dry and muttered in his heart, "My virgin body is finally going to break. Where should I start from?" In his previous life, he had learned a lot about all sorts of theoretical knowledge from action movies. He knew every stance and every routine. But when it came to his own practice, he was at a loss. Huff, huff, huff. "It's just a crack. I don't believe it's that hard." Long Fei's breathing hastened, his mind a blank as he said disdainfully to himself, "You bastard! Did you see those little movies in your previous life? It's too cowardly. You can just do whatever you want in the movies." Long Fei was struggling. He really did not know how to act. It was too difficult. He would rather fight against a few bosses. Time was running out. If he didn't hurry, Tianxing would really report to Yama. "I don't care." Long Fei looked at the heavenly star on the ground and then directly pressed it down. Chapter 1042, Disputes. Chapter 1042, Disputes. A long time passed. A long time passed. After a long while, the system suddenly sounded out a notification sound. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for swallowing White Tiger Blood Vein. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for increasing the level of his devouring vein. A small bead of blood suddenly fell out of Long Fei's body, and at that moment, one of the devouring vein's level increase fell to the ground, because, when he absorbed the high-level blood vein, it was completely devoured by Long Fei. At this time, the Yen Huang ancestor smiled and thought to himself, "Brat, this is where the devouring vein are the most powerful. The platform called God's Martial Continent is too small. I know that you will one day jump out. The Chaos Realm is your stage. That is the world where the blood vein is king. There's still hope. We'll definitely be able to shine in the Chaos Realm." Actually, Long Fei did not know that the reason that was formed was to prepare for Long Fei to enter the Chaos Realm. Devouring Vein could not unleash much power in the God's Martial Continent. Entering the Chaos Realm was Long Fei's stage, and what the Devouring Vein displayed was, before that, Long Fei's blood vein needed to be upgraded, so the easiest way to level up was to merge with the high-level blood veins woman. This was the fastest way. With the blood vein's level increase, Long Fei could clearly feel the strength in his body becoming stronger. At the same time, it was also at that instant that the power of primordial energy exploded from Long Fei's lower body. Ugh! Tianqin let out a delicate gasp as her cheeks flushed red. Her entire body couldn't help but tremble a few times as her body went limp. It was as if she had experienced an unparalleled war. He was extremely tired, but there was one thing. Compared to before, her breathing had become steady. Long Fei shouted in his heart, "Ancestor, come out right now." Yen Huang ancestor smiled. "Brat, how do you feel?" "It must be great. Ha ha ha. It feels great. Huh. Ancestor, what do you think I am? Even if I am worse than a beast, I still cannot take advantage of someone. To still be against someone who is on the verge of death. Isn't this way too much of a scam?" Long Fei was a little angry in his heart. The old ancestor disdainfully said, "Brat, don't be so cheap and act so good. This is nothing at all. She's just a woman, and a man shouldn't be bothered by small matters. You are someone who does great things. In order to stand on high ground, you must learn to use any means possible. What is this? When you enter the Chaos Realm, you will understand that this sort of thing is not even considered trivial. Just a moment ago, you felt that your blood vein had leveled up, so you still need a lot of women like that." Yen Huang ancestor seemed to be provoked. God's Martial Continent is nothing at all. The Chaos Realm is a world where humans eat humans. If you do not bring the blood vein up to the surface now, it would be difficult for you to find a foothold once you enter the Chaos Realm. You understand? Yen Huang ancestor said heavily. He watched as Long Fei grew, became stronger. He did not wish for Long Fei to be stepped on in Chaos Realm, and even so, it was difficult for him to have a foothold. The Chaos Realm was the truly dangerous place. If one was not careful, they would die without a burial ground. The blood vein must be raised first. A first-rank blood vein in the Chaos Realm was not even worth a fart. Long Fei was surprised. This was the first time he saw the Yen Huang ancestor angry. However, Long Fei said, "I have my principles. I am not a bulldozer. Not every woman will attend to me. Ancestor, if you have anything you want to tell me in advance, please do so." No matter what world, Long Fei would never give up on his principles. One needs the bottom line and the principle. It was the same for women. Long Fei was not some beast. Any female could challenge him. Yen Huang ancestor asked, "Principles? Do you know why the Chaos Realm calls it primal chaos? Because it is extremely chaotic, just like the world which was just opened. There are no principles to speak of in that place, and if you are not strong, you will be eaten. Kid, I know you have special abilities, unlike normal warriors, but you have to know this is a world where one eats people. Also, look at her. Her face is rosy and her breathing is even. All the pain in her body has been completely swallowed by you. Did I lie to you? The injuries on Tianxin's body disappeared. Yan Huang ancestor did not lie to him that he would wake up after a while. Long Fei went silent. Long Fei, I know that you might not be able to accept this in your heart. After all, this woman hasn't even known you for a day, but you need to know that your time is too short. How are you going to face the palace question of God in less than 2 years? And how are you going to face the current savage domain? To become strong, we should use any means possible. Long Fei said, I will become stronger, but not through this method. Ancestor, I know that you are doing this for my own good, but my path, I wish to walk by myself. Knew that the Yan Huang ancestor was kind to him. However, he could not accept such an arrangement. He needed to walk his own path, not follow others' arrangements. Yan Huang ancestor was silent for a while, then said, I was too anxious. From the moment Long Fei entered the savage domain to kill beasts and meet with the second generation of evolved humans, the Yan Huang ancestor had become restless. He was anxious. He really wanted to turn Long Fei into an invincible powerhouse. At the same time, he also wanted to return to the Chaos Realm sooner, so that he could take revenge. The Yan Huang ancestor quieted down as he muttered in his heart, I need to calm down and think about it carefully. I need to calm down. I need to calm down. Long Fei did not say any more. 10 minutes later, Tianxing slowly opened her eyes. In that instant, she flipped her body and stood up. She didn't seem to be injured at all. However, she took a deep breath as she regained her balance. Because of the distance, her crotch was in great pain, as if a wound was being torn. She was a virgin. The first time was naturally like this. Hiss! The idea felt the impact, and its lower body became red and swollen. The pain was extremely severe, and as it raised its eyes, a cold glint could be seen in them. Long Fei said as he looked at her, Just now, I did not. Without waiting for Long Fei to finish speaking, Heavenly Star immediately interrupted him and said, Nothing happened just now. Huh. Long Fei stared blankly and muttered, So generous? Buzz. The sword moved, directly pointing at Long Fei's throat, and said, Say that again. The reason she said that was because she didn't want to think about those things. She could say that, but Long Fei couldn't. After all, this was a woman's chastity. Long Fei took a small step back and said, Nothing happened, nothing happened. If you're willing, then I'm willing. Chapter 1043, Conquering the Sky Star. Chapter 1043, Conquering the Sky Star. If women were willing, then what else could he say? He put away his heavenly star sword and took a step forward. Hiss! His feet trembled. His crotch was in so much pain that he could barely stand. Every step he took caused him to stagger forward. Long Fei was blaming himself a little. It was all his fault for being inexperienced. He was too preoccupied with himself just now, which was why the violent impact was able to cause such a thing. He said with good intentions, "I heard that this is the first time a woman is suffering so much pain. You should rest more." "You're still talking." Tian Xing Wu glared, staring straight at Long Fei, his entire body shivering, as though he wanted to kill Long Fei. Long Fei said, "I am only reminding you to rest for a while before leaving." Tian Xing ignored them, walking out of the forest while enduring the pain. She was moving up and down, and it was unknown if it was because Long Fei used too much strength or some other reason, but she was bleeding profusely from her crotch. Seeing that, Long Fei immediately stopped her and said with a commanding tone, "You must rest now. It's none of your business." Tian Xing Yi stared at Long Fei. However, Long Fei did not care about that. He just picked her up and said tyrannically, "You are now my woman. Why can't I care about you?" He forcefully hugged Sky Star in his embrace. Sky Star struggled as hard as he could, both fists fiercely smashing into Long Fei's chest. "Let me go, let me go, let me go." Tianxin roared, tears welling up in his eyes. Long Fei hugged her tighter and tighter, causing her chest to split from the heavenly star hammer, but he still did not let go. He tightly held her in his embrace until she was unable to move. Woo, woo, woo. Tianxin collapsed as well. Unable to hold on any longer, he began to bawl. Long Fei also let out a sigh of relief and thought to himself, "This kind of rhythm is more like it." No matter how strong a woman was, she was still a woman. She pretended to be strong even when her most precious thing was gone. How long could she last while gritting her teeth? Woo, woo, woo. The corners of her eyes looked towards Long Fei's side. Suddenly, she bit down, biting onto Long Fei's flesh, trying her best not to let out a cry. Hiss! Long Fei took a deep breath. He did not let go, nor did he cry out in pain. Seeing her tears, thinking back to the way she walked just now, Long Fei's heart ached. Anyway, she was the first woman in Long Fei's true meaning. No matter what, Long Fei had to be responsible for what he did. A piece of meat was about to be bitten off. Long Fei did not show any expression of pain. Finally, Tianxin felt slightly relieved and stopped crying. She asked in a low voice, "Does it hurt?" "Pain. It hurts." However, being bitten by one's own woman is also a type of happiness. Many people wouldn't be able to hope for it. Long Fei looked at the quiet Tianxing and asked, "Have you calmed down?" She looked at the man she had known for less than a day and said, "Can you let me down? I'll rest." Long Fei put down the heavenly star. Tianxin sat down with his back against the tree. His face was covered in tears. He closed his eyes and began to rest. Long Fei said, "Rest well here, I'll go find something to eat." Finished. Long Fei then went into the forest. Only after she confirmed that Long Fei had disappeared did she open her eyes. Looking in the direction Long Fei had disappeared in, the expression in her eyes was complicated, and her mind was a mess. However, she knew clearly in her heart that if not for Long Fei, she would have been killed by the third elder long ago. If not for Long Fei, she would already be dead. In fact, she was very clear about everything that had happened while she was unconscious. She had also heard the things that Long Fei had said in her sea of consciousness. It was just that he couldn't accept it for a while. Tianxin bit her lips lightly, clenched her fists, and stood up. A few seconds later, she sat back down. Tianxian escaped. The third elder's men went after them. From her understanding of the sky profound, if he were to successfully escape, she would definitely say that he had betrayed her and joined the third elder's camp. Savage City might not be able to return. If he was killed, as the captain, it was hard to blame him for not protecting him. Master would definitely severely punish her, no matter what. I need to go back to the Savage City. The third elder definitely isn't alone. There's definitely someone behind him. Tian Xing decided that Savage City must be in danger from all sides. But she had to go back. She still had something important in the Savage City. Long Fei entered the forest and did not let Tianxing go there alone. Instead, he had sent his ghost soldiers to guard it. After finding out that Tianxing didn't escape, he felt slightly relieved. Tianxing's reaction should mean that she accepted reality. Half an hour later, Long Fei walked out of the forest while carrying a cleaned-up wild beast and a few spirit grasses that were used for healing. Light the fire and set up the grill. Not long after, the wild beast's thigh meat released a burnt aroma sprinkled with some salt and seasonings. The fragrance spread in all directions, evoking a worm in his stomach. Long Fei tore off a piece of meat and passed it to Tianxing, saying, "Taste it." After entering the immortal domain, Long Fei rarely grilled meat. As Tianxing looked at the oily and fragrant barbecue, she wanted to reject it, but her stomach growled as it betrayed her. He took the barbecue and gently tasted it. However, just because of this bite, she froze for a moment. Then she started to wolf down her food. His mouth was covered in oil, making him look like a kitten. Long Fei said, "Take your time to eat. There's still a lot left. Don't burn them." Tianxing didn't even care. He didn't even have the time to talk, as he continued to eat. During this period of time, Long Fei took out the green dragon tripod S to refine the few stalks of spirit grass S into high-rank healing pills, and said, "This healing pill will be beneficial to your wound healing." Tianxing looked at Long Fei. His eyes were no longer as cold as before, but instead filled with a sense of being moved. Tianxing took the pill and said, "Don't think you can bribe me with a piece of roasted meat. Let me tell you, no, not yet. 3 meals of barbecue. No way. 10 meals, I need 10 meals. Long Fei looked at Tianxing and said, "You can have it for life." She was deeply moved by Long Fei's words, but she did not let them show her how touched she was. Because he was Long Fei, because the people from the savage domain that had evolved, the people the Tian family had to deal with were Long Fei. As long as Long Fei was here, Long Fei would definitely die. At the thought of this, Skystar's eyes were full of tears. He could not control himself. Long Fei laughed. "How can you be so touched? It's just a barbecue. No matter how much you want to eat or how much I roast for you, it doesn't matter if you become a fat pig. I can afford it." Tianxing went silent. Half an hour later, after he finished eating the roast meat, Long Fei said, lightly, "It's time to go back to business." Chapter 1044. I am your woman. Chapter 1044. I am your woman. You know my name, so you must know my identity. I want to know what happened in Nantian region. Do you know why the savage domain became like this? Can you tell me? Long Fei was very sincere. He really wanted to know. This was his main purpose in saving Tianxin. Tianxing looked at Long Fei, then said, "After you left, the Nantian region was controlled by the savage domain. Your family members, brothers, and those women were all controlled. As for why savage domain became like this, I believe you should also know one thing, that the savage domain's domain treasure, the transmission gate, was activated by one of the Chaos Realm's powerhouses. Then it became like this. People like us who have gone through evolution are all the slaves of that powerhouse. We can't even be considered slaves." Tianxin didn't hide anything. She told what she knew to Long Fei. Moreover, these were not some secret. Long Fei would find out sooner or later. Long Fei's heart trembled. A powerhouse from Chaos Realm? Your father cannot handle this. Now that there's a powerhouse from the Chaos Realm, I just want to know what kind of treasure is hidden in this world. Even Chaos Realm's powerhouse wants to obtain it. Long Fei was extremely
I want to see what
unhappy.
exactly is
A
hidden in this
single
dragon
question
domain.
of God had
Be it
pressured
the
him
powerhouse
to
of
the
the
point where
gods'
he couldn't breathe.
Martial continent,
And
or
now
the powerhouse
an even
of the
stronger
Chaos Realm.
powerhouse had arrived.
If they wanted to
as
obtain
well.
the secret
Very
treasure of the
unhappy,
dragon domain,
Tianxing
it could
looked at
only
Long Fei.
prove one
Long
thing.
Fei,
You
it
are
must
not
be
savage
extremely
domain's
powerful.
match.
As
With the
long as
power
you
to
are
destroy
open
the
dragon
heavens
domain
and
you
earth.
and Nantian
In that
region,
case,
or even
then,
all of your
if Long
relatives
Fei
and friends
gets
in
it
immortal
himself,
domain,
nothing
you
in
will
the
be
world
killed.
can stop
The
my
powerhouse
advance.
is much
I,
stronger than
Long
the palace
Fei,
question of
was
God.
born into this world
You must
to kill
not enter the
gods
open
and
dragon
Buddhas
domain.
to kill Buddhas.
This is your
If
only
anyone
chance
tries
of
to stop
survival.
me,
I
as
will
long as they
explode
were
their
not open dragon
chrysanthemum.
domain,
They were
Long
safe.
Fei clenched
Long
his
Fei
fists
herself
tightly,
was safe.
a sharp
Because
light flashing
he was
across
the
his
only
eyes.
person who was
Sky
able to
Star
enter
looked at
open
Long
dragon
Fei
domain
and felt that
if
this
he
man
died,
was very
there would
different,
no longer
very
be anyone in
special.
this world
who was
early
able to
morning,
enter open dragon
Tianxin
domain.
moved slightly,
Thus, his life
and the
was
pain
very important.
disappeared.
But
the idea
what
moved,
Tianxing
summoning
did
the
not
white
know,
tiger,
and what most
stepped
people
onto
did
it
not know
at this
was
moment,
that there were still
Long
2
Fei
years
leaped up
until the dragon
and landed
clan
on the white
calamity.
tiger's back.
If not for open
Tianxing
dragon
was
domain
startled,
allowing the
saying,
dragon ancestor
"Quickly
to
get
return
down.
to his position,
The white tiger
and
will get
obtaining
angry,
a strong
and
power
it
from
will
the
throw
dragon
you
domain.
away." Long
When
Fei
he was
would not
speaking,
be able to withstand
the
it.
white tiger
He would
did
still be
not have
killed.
any violent
The
emotions.
open dragon domain
It was not angry
killed
at all
by the
because
tribulation.
Long
Open
Fei
dragon
was sitting
domain
on its
was
back,
killed by palace
and
question
it was
of God.
very normal.
Chaos Realm's
Very fast.
powerhouse.
This was the
There
first
was no
time.
path to
Tianxin
heaven,
was
no
stunned.
door to hell.
How can this be?
He was trying to
Long
force
Fei
someone
laughed
into a dead end
and said,
Long
Perhaps
Fei
it's
raised
because
his
I'm
eyebrows,
so
the corners
handsome.
of his mouth raised.
Long
he laughed
Fei had
lightly
saved
and said,
Tianxing.
"You all want the
Saving
dragon
her was
domain's
equivalent to
secret
saving the
treasures,
white tiger.
right?" Then again, with the white tiger blood vein in Long Fei's body, it would be even less able to resist. Long Fei grabbed Tianxin's small waist, leaned close, and said in his ear, "Let's go." She was not as resistant to Long Fei as before, and she was even a little happy. However, Tianxing said sternly, "I want to meet Savage City. You cannot follow me. You must leave this place. Your appearance in Savage Domain is extremely dangerous. Master will definitely not let you off. She's definitely searching for you everywhere, right now. Long Fei, listen to my advice, and leave this place." If the Sky Profound fled, the matter of Long Fei appearing in Savage Domain would definitely be exposed. At that time, the Savage City Lord would definitely dispatch many powerhouse-s to apprehend Long Fei. If Long Fei followed her to the Savage City, it would be equivalent to walking into a trap. Long Fei said, "If you want me to not go to Savage City, that's fine. But if you come with me, I can't let you die." Tianxin was slightly moved. "I'll be fine." "Don't say so much." "White Tiger, go to Savage City." This time, Long Fei was determined to get the savage domain. With the change in the situation in the savage domain, and with everything targeting the dragon domain's secret treasure, he had to figure it out even more. Is that the dragon tail tomb is in a certain corner in the savage domain. If he wanted to find it, he would have to go deep into the heart of the savage domain. If I don't find the dragon tail tomb, then I won't be able to find it. Tian Xing wanted to control the white tiger, but he realized that the white tiger had stopped Long Fei and was running towards the savage city. It's too dangerous for you. It's too dangerous for you. I can't let my woman take the risk. I'm not your woman. What did you say? You are not my woman. Long Fei hugged Heavenstar's twin peaks and began to ravage them ruthlessly, saying, "Say it again. Do you believe that I'll send a tiger out?" Tian Xing was panting as she said, "Yes, yes, I am your woman." "That's more like it. It's good to be like this earlier." Long Fei laughed sinisterly. "Do you want to shake the tiger a bit?" Tianxin blushed, not daring to answer. Once you have sex, she doesn't hate you and will fall in love with you very soon, which is one of the fastest ways to conquer a woman. In the distance, the yellow sand filled the sky. The afterglow of the setting sun imprinted the entire desert. The setting sun was like blood, incomparable red. It gave people a chillingly chilling feeling. The savage domain was the most dangerous place in the gods' martial continent. On the way, Tian Xing leaned into Long Fei's embrace as Long Fei maneuvered the white tiger like a celestial couple. "Oh, right, you haven't told me what you want to capture God's martial continent for yet. What escort?" Long Fei thought about this and asked. Tianxin said softly, "I'll ask you to escort 4 men. They just came out of Chaos Realm. Their evolution is complete. The energy in their bodies is very special, very strong. One of them actually has the physique of a ghost. I have never seen it before. The Chaos Realm values it very much. It seems it's your 4 great King Kong." Chapter 1045, The 4 Great Vajra. Chapter 1045, The 4 Great Vajra hearing this news. A huge buzzing sound filled Long Fei's brain, as if it was going to explode. The 4 Great Vajra. Li Yuanba, Heavenly Spirit, Lin Yusheng, Arhut. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly and shouted out, "White Tiger, increase your speed." More than 4 years. Long Fei missed his brothers so much, but they were captured and sent to the Chaos Realm to evolve, becoming evolved humans. What did he become? Long Fei felt as if he was weeping blood in his heart, and said solemnly, "I will kill whoever that dares to touch my brother." The white tiger roared, increased its speed, and dashed out crazily. Savage City, City Lord's mansion. In an extremely luxurious courtyard, there was a veranda, pavilion, fake mountain, and flowing water. There was still some fear in Tianxian's eyes. Even after a whole day had passed, he still hadn't recovered from his fear. He said, "Father, we can't just let this matter go like this. Heaven, the leader of the Tian family, the first generation of evolved people, the top powerhouse." Heaven secretly locked the space between his brows and muttered, "This matter will definitely not end like this. But right now, the most important thing is to catch Long Fei." The third elder's betrayal was indeed important. However, all of these were within Heaven's expectations, and there was still someone behind the third elder. He was not the only one. His cultivation level alone was not enough to contend against him. However, the most important thing right now was not to clean up the clan and find Long Fei first. Only by controlling Long Fei could he take control of the situation. His hands and feet were bound by everything would be in a passive state. His strength was restricted even if he by controlled the family. He could not kill the third elder. It would be useless. Heaven's forehead. There are many ways to control people in this world. However, poison soul this poison news was definitely good one news kind for him, of poison because the third elder was killed, the pill, and Long Fei was definitely Fairyland's powerhouse. So he did not need to be overconfident. Begging for mercy in front of you. Send out all the black armored soldiers. Make sure to find Long Fei for me. Are you sure you were attacked? Monitor the edge of the savage domain. Every move closely, and report anything that happens to me immediately. Father, if she had not died, she would have already betrayed the third elder. Heaven laughed. No one could stop the pain of the poison soul. Maybe the dragon domain she definitely could not either. If that's the case, then that powerhouse should give me a black armored guard walked right into the courtyard. Tianxian they were Heaven's most elite didn't Long most loyal for Great King Kong's evolution. Heaven said, "Just complete. We can use them to attract Long Fei here. The third elder has been killed. Fei will definitely come for brother's sake, and his whereabouts are unknown." Good idea. The great clan elder at the sky has not made a move. His eyes had a hint of admiration in them as he said, "Tianxian was startled this matter." The third elder was killed. Excitedly said, "How is this possible? Your son will not let you down. His cultivation level has reached the flying fairyland. This was the prison of the Savage City. Sky Profound was security was also the most heavily guarded place in Savage City, even more so than the City Lord's mansion. There were 4 people locked up in a cage. Their 4 dull eyes were like the living dead as they stood silently in the corner. In the darkness, their appearances could not be clearly seen. No expression could be seen on their faces. However, every single one of them was emitting an aura of immense power. Aside from the aura of the evolved people, there was also the aura of a special power that had been released from their bodies. Suddenly, the dungeon door opened and a beam of light shone in. It struck right on their faces. Li Yuanba glared at Kong Kim angrily, like a malevolent Buddha in a temple. On his back, there was still an incomparably large sarcophagus, and the sound of metal striking metal could be heard. The sky spirit's eyes glowed with a green light like ghost fire. 3 water ripples faintly moved on Lin Yoshing's body. The blood-colored demon on the Arhat's head became even more ferocious, lowering its wand and emitting demonic flames, it was as though this weapon was possessed. 2 rows of black armored elites opened the path. Tianxian slowly walked into the dungeon with a special spiritual treasure in his hand. A bell. With a smirk, Tianxian said, "Open the prison door." One of the guards blanked for a moment before replying, "Young master, these 4 people have very special powers. Their consciousness has not been completely brainwashed. Once it is opened, I fear that it will harm you." "Pa!" A slap landed on his face. Tianxian shouted, "Since you know that I am the young master, then stop wasting your breath on me. I will open it once you open it. If you dare spout another word, I will kill you." The guard didn't dare to disobey and carefully opened the cage. The 4 of them did not move. Tianxian walked up to the door, and with a cold smile, he said, "For puppies, how about you come out and take a walk?" The four of them still didn't understand. Tianxian continued, "You're not coming out? Don't you want to meet your boss, Long Fei?" The word Long Fei was like a thunderbolt, instantly stimulating their minds. His mind stirred. Li Yuanba's enormous body took the initiative and stepped out. Boom! He did not walk through the door, but directly broke through the thigh-thick, special black iron pillar. These black iron god pillars were like bubbles to him. One step forward, he instantly grabbed Tianxuan's neck with his hand as the veins on his arm bulged. Pure strength burst out of his body in loops and loops, crushing the space around him to the point that it seemed as if it would shatter the space around it. Unstoppable, he lifted Tianxian up into the air like he was holding a little chick. It was incomparably terrifying. It was also at this moment the black-armored warriors moved in unison, their 16 spears pointing at Li Yuanba's neck as they formed a circle. However, Li Yuanba didn't even spare him a glance as he stared fixedly at the profound sky continent. He was only angry, but he couldn't say a word. The more he thought about it, the more his head hurt. Tianxian laughed coldly and shook the bell in his hand. Ding-ling-ling! Li Yuanba's face revealed a huge expression of pain. The same was true for the other three. They felt a splitting headache, as if an insect had drilled into their brains. It was extremely uncomfortable. "You dog! Let go!" The bell in Tianxian's hand rang, causing Li Yuanba to be in so much pain that he wished he were dead. His body curled up, and he held his head with both of his hands, rolling on the ground in pain. All four of them were the same. "Ha ha ha!" Tianxian laughed complacently, watching the mysterious iron god pillar get smashed into smithereens. He laughed even more fiercely. "Long Fei, look at your brother. He is like a dog now. Ha ha ha!" On a hillside, Tianxing pointed at a big city not far away, then said, "In front of us is Savage City. Chapter 1046, Entering the City. Chapter 1046, Entering the City. Remember, once you enter the Savage City, you must listen to my orders. Tianxing was a little worried. Along the way, Long Fei had already occupied a very important position in her heart. Obviously, she had fallen in love with this man. Because of the first time, Long Fei nodded his head and said, "Don't worry, even ghosts wouldn't be able to recognize me as Long Fei." Disguise. You could also call him makeup, but the current Long Fei was completely different. It was impossible to tell who he was. Long Fei's appearance had changed, but Tianxing was still worried. The two of them walked into the Savage City. When the city guards saw Tianxing, they immediately bowed respectfully. At the same time, a look of doubt appeared in their eyes. Tianxing did not notice, but Long Fei had noticed it, and thought, "It seems that fellow Tianxian has escaped." A few minutes later, a black-armored warrior felt the city lord's mansion and reported to Heaven, "Clan leader Tianxing has returned." Heaven was startled with the death of the third elder. He did not care about Tianxing's life anymore, and suddenly returned. Heaven was silent for a moment, then said, "Who else is by her side?" The warrior replied, "An unfamiliar old man." Heaven repeated, A strange old man? Could it be that this old man saved her? Tell this matter to Tianxian. As long as it was not Long Fei, he was not interested. Yes, sir. The black-armored warrior withdrew. After entering the city, the Heavenly Star Realm did not stop at all. The Lien family did not even turn back as he directly walked towards the city lord's mansion. In the dungeon, when Tianxian heard the news that Tianxian had returned to the city, his gaze turned sinister, and the corner of his mouth curled up slightly. Things are going to get interesting this time. Ha ha! He shook the bell in his hand and ordered, "You four listen up." Li Yuanba and the other 3 people stood up. They were extremely spirited, and their eyes were filled with thick white light. When the bell rang, they were immediately controlled like zombies in a zombie movie. Tianxian said, "Follow me to the city lord's mansion." "Kid, the guards in Savage City are all evolved people. The ordinary guards are all 3rd-generation evolved people, and there are even some 2nd-generation evolved people." Yan Huang ancestor was secretly shocked. Was it really the powerhouse who was crippled by such a huge force to establish such a powerful force in the savage domain? Long Fei's eyes flashed with a gold light and muttered, "These evolved people have too much experience. If I could kill them all, that would be great." Level 1. Within 2 years, it must be said that it would be extremely difficult for Long Fei to reach the flying fairyland. Right now, Long Fei had gained almost 2 billion experience from leveling up. It was simply too difficult. Even at the 8th or 9th level, the experience of a high-level demon beast wouldn't be enough to satisfy his leveling needs. Long Fei asked Tianxing, saying in a low voice, "How many evolved people do you think there are?" The savage domain has changed a lot in the past few years. Basically, there are evolved people coming out of the portal every day. I don't know how many people to ask. Don't ask such questions in Savage City. The mayor's mansion is right in front of us. I'll go in later. Wait for me outside. Tianxin explained. Long Fei said, "You should be careful yourself." Tianxin felt warm in her heart and replied, "Yes." However, Tianxing didn't take it to heart. She had a very high status in the Savage City and was the patriarch's capable warrior. She would be fine no matter what. Long Fei sat down at a tea house opposite to the city lord's mansion, ordering a cup of tea and slowly drinking it. He kept thinking about things in his mind. Similarly, he was also waiting for news from the Yan Huang ancestor. After entering the Savage City, Long Fei asked the Yan Huang ancestor to determine their location. Long Fei was sure that Li Yuanba and the others were definitely in the Savage City. In the Sky Star, Long Fei sent out 500 of his soldiers to protect her. Even if she met with some trouble, she would still be able to escape unscathed. Because Tianxin is his woman, my woman naturally wouldn't let her fall into danger. The other 500 ghost soldiers were spread out in every corner of the Savage City, quickly gathering intelligence. The strongest power of the Hellcore was unleashed. It was invisible, killing without a trace. And, most importantly, they were able to enter some places that Long Fei couldn't even enter. Everything had been arranged properly. Long Fei sipped on his tea and waited slowly. Patriarch, I'm back." Tianxin looked excited. After all, this was her home, and she had been personally raised by Heaven. It could be said that in her heart, Heaven was considered half a father to her. Heaven pretended to be happy and said, "Tianxin, you're finally back. I'll send someone to look for you for the next few days. The 3rd elder didn't do anything to you, right?" "Xian already told me." Tianxin said, "Patriarch, the 3rd elder was killed by an expert, and that's why I escaped. I rushed back to inform you. You must be wary of the 3rd elder's forces, and there's one more thing." Heaven said, "Go ahead." Tianxing said, I think the third elder still has someone backing him. Otherwise, with his strength, he wouldn't dare to fight you. Heaven pretended to be deep in thought and said, Tianxin, you can't say such nonsense. Yes, sir. Tianxin immediately lowered his head. This is just my guess. She had been thinking about this matter for the past few days. The third elder did not dare to openly oppose the patriarch. There must be someone backing him. At this time, Heaven asked, Tianxin, I heard you caught Long Fei this time. Where is he now? He's someone that the powerhouse wants by name. With him, we can take the initiative to take the initiative. Do you know where he is? Long Fei was the main point. Heaven did not want to get the answer from Heavenly Star. He merely asked in a testing manner. However, Tianxin went silent, a look of embarrassment in her eyes. This made Heaven's heart tremble, and he thought to himself, seems like she really has connections with Long Fei. That strange old man. Heaven's expression shook violently, and was slightly excited in his heart. If it's really him, then... Ha ha! And then Heaven immediately transmitted to the black-armored warrior outside the room. She had never disobeyed Heaven's orders, nor lied to him. But this time, Tianxin bit her lips and said, Disciple doesn't know. Her behavior had betrayed her. Heaven laughed. It's fine if you don't know, since the Nantian region is already in our hands. There's no need to worry about Long Fei not appearing. Right. Where is the powerhouse that saved you? I want to thank him in person, Heaven asked. He has already left the savage domain, Tianxin said. Oh, if that's the case, then next time, Heaven laughed faintly. At this moment, a laugh came from outside. Ha ha ha. Heavenly Star Senior Sister, you're really back? Tianxian entered the city lord's mansion from the rear courtyard. Behind him were 4 people, the 4 great Vajra. Chapter 1047. Time to send you on your way. Chapter 1047. Time to send you on your way. Tianxian walked into the main hall. The 4 great king-level entities stood outside the house like 4 pieces of wood, not even daring to make the slightest movement. Without Tianxuan's order, they wouldn't move an inch. She had seen the 4 great Vajra before, so her heart secretly tensed up as she prayed, Long Fei, do not come in here, okay? In the tea house, 2 black-armored warriors walked to Long Fei's side and said, Our city lord invites you. Long Fei did not reply, but immediately stood up. The 2 black-armored warriors were surprised. Wasn't this Long Fei too cooperative? Long Fei immediately followed them into the city lord's mansion. In the dark, Long Fei's heart trembled. Something really happened. Earlier in the beginning, he had released a shadow clone and quietly observed the situation in the dark. With the Heavenly Star not appearing for a long time, Long Fei started to worry. Ancestor, are you still unable to sense their position? Long Fei asked again. Yan Huang Ancestor said, No, if they were in Savage City, I would be able to detect them even if they dug around 3 feet into the ground, unless their power has changed completely. His aura had completely changed, and even Yan Huang Ancestor couldn't feel it. Long Fei's heart tightened. He had originally wanted to take advantage of the time that his clone had wasted to find Li Yuanba and the others, but now he could only enter the city lord's mansion. Long Fei held his breath and quietly moved. In the main hall, Tianxian stared at Tianxing and sneered. You really didn't take the poison soul pill. It seems like you really were saved by the master. Tianxing was slightly displeased by Tianxian's stare. Junior brother Tianxian, what do you mean by this? Tianxian asked, What do you mean? I think that master is Long Fei. Sky Star's eyes darkened and said, Long Fei is tied up by Luo Ling Nexus, so how can he save me from a cage? Junior brother Tianxian, it's you. The third elder's words just made you kneel on the ground and beg for mercy. You have no backbone at all. Tianxian's face changed. He felt pain from Tianxing's words. His eyes turned sinister as he slapped Tianxing. Who do you think you are? How dare you criticize me? Boom. Without moving, Tianxing blocked Tianxian's palm with one hand, saying, Junior brother Tianxian, your cultivation is not enough yet. In terms of strength, she could easily crush Tianxian. Tianxian laughed coldly and said, Is that so? In his other hand, he held a bell, which rang. Swish! A dark shadow moved. The power of the dosed moved. A palm struck out. Too fast. It was unbelievably fast, and there wasn't even time to react. Even Heaven's heart was slightly shaken, and he was overwhelmed with shock as he thought in his heart, what a fast speed! Bam! Tianqing couldn't handle it at all. He was sent flying by the force of a palm to his chest. He landed heavily on the ground, his face pale. Tianxian laughed coldly. Senior sister of the heavenly star realm, do you think my strength is enough to see now? A palm fell. The sky spirit stood still and motionless. Tianxian laughed complacently as he thought to himself, the four great King Kong are indeed extraordinary. Each of them possesses their own strength and unique characteristics. It's simply too refreshing. Who dares to be the best match for me in the future, controlling these four great King Kong? Tianxing crawled up from the ground with blood hanging from the corner of his mouth. He looked at Tianxian and said, This is the super warrior that the powerhouse had personally transformed and evolved. You dare to use it privately? Patriarch, don't you care about it? Indeed, this was a product personally modified by the powerhouse and was used to deal with Long Fei. Heaven frowned. He might not care about others, but that powerhouse, one of his idea, could take his life. Tianxian replied, As long as you don't say anything, no one will know. You think I won't tell? At this moment, they were surrounded by Yin soldiers and Warrior S, unable to react to the previous move. They were caught unprepared, and also, the most crucial point, in the eyes of the heavenly spirits, they were not invisible. The physique of a sky spirit was very special. Not human, not ghost, not demon, not demon. He could see everything in this world that was unreal, and these ghost soldiers could not hide from him at all. Right now, he could only listen to Tianquan's orders. He would do whatever he wanted. Even if he found a lot of Yin soldiers, he would not say it out loud. At the same time, a shadow soldier quickly transmitted to Yan Huang Ancestor. Yan Huang Ancestor was startled and quickly explained the situation to Long Fei. Long Fei hurried over. Tianxian laughed complacently. Why would a dead man speak? Heavenly Star Senior Sister, you are already a dead man in my eyes. The space between Heaven's eyebrows tightened. He was slightly displeased with Tianquan's actions. Tianxian said, Father, even the Lord of Chaos realm wants to obtain the secret treasure of Long Clan. Could it be that you have never thought of possessing it yourself? The Chaos realm is so powerful. The things he wants are definitely extraordinary. If you were to obtain it, then you will definitely become the #1 person in the gods' martial continent, or even the #1 person in the Chaos realm. And the Lord is restricted by the power of the ancient code. He cannot enter the gods' martial continent at all. As long as we smash Transmission Gate, he is nothing. In the past, Tianxian didn't dare to think of this. However, when he witnessed the power of the 4 great king-level beasts, his ambition grew infinitely larger. He had already thought of a plan to deal with the powerhouse in the Chaos realm. As long as he could destroy the Transmission Gate and break the link with the Chaos realm, then no one would be able to control them. Thinking about that, Tianxian could not help but become excited. What is the palace question of God? So, what if the Western Decil territory is worth? What if the Dark Domain's Chenji city is worth it? All of them will be stepped on by us. And then Father will be the supreme ruler of the gods' martial continent. The scene was incomparably beautiful. It was so beautiful that even heaven was moved. With the current strength of the savage domain, he could really go head-to-head with the palace question of God, Western Decil territory, and the Dark Domain. Heaven was moved. He closed his eyes slightly. This could be considered a form of acquiescence. The corner of his mouth revealed a pleased smile, and he said, "Senior sister, it's time to send you on your way." Ding-ling-ling. With the shake of the bell, a bright light flashed across Li Yuanba's eyes. Both of his fists exploded, and a powerful force pressed down from the sky, striking towards Tianxing. The 500 ghost soldiers stood up and moved. He used all his strength to resist the attack. Buzz! An explosion sounded in the sky. Next, the 500 ghost soldiers were immediately flung out. 500 of them. Each one of them was at the Yuan Xian realm, but they could not even withstand a single punch from Li Yuanba. How powerful was he? Tianxin stood dumbly on the spot, unable to respond. At this moment, a black-armored warrior said, "Patriarch, the old man has arrived." Tianxian's gaze darkened. The bell in his hand rang, causing Li Yuanba to retract his power and stand quietly on the spot. Seeing Long Fei's avatar, Tianxian laughed proudly. "Dog, you're finally here." Chapter 1048, Long Fei against the Four Great Vajra. Chapter 1048, Long Fei against the Four Great Vajra. If not for the appearance of Long Fei's clone, Tianxian would not have ordered Li Yuanba to stop. "Stop pretending." "Long Fei." Tianxian looked at Long Fei, who looked like an old man with interest, and said with an icy smile, "I said it before, your life is mine." Long Fei stood in place without saying a word. His clone hadn't reached that level yet. Heaven said slightly, "Xian, are you that sure that he is Long Fei?" Tianxian said, "Whether or not Long Fei wants to try it is known." "I'm sorry, senior sister." Tianxian sneered and suddenly shook the bell in his hand as he commanded, "Li Yuanba, do it." At this moment, shua, a golden light flashed, and a powerful force came crushing down from the sky. He didn't give Tianxian any chance to react. A slash! Bam! The strength of this strike was extremely perverse. It directly cut off one of Tianxuan's hands and sent it flying. With a flash of golden light, it directly caught the bell that was controlled. Ah! Tianxian howled like a pig being butchered, blood spewing out from his mouth. He trembled in pain and screamed. He sheathed his wild saber. Long Fei landed, looked at the four of them, and looked at the bell in his hand. Li Yuanba also stopped moving. Yuanba, Heavenly Spirit, Lin Yusheng, Arhut. Long Fei looked at the lifeless eyes of the four of them as though they were zombies and felt extremely uncomfortable in his heart. The anger in his heart was intertwining frantically with killing intent. The murderous power within his mind surged. He was enraged. Tian Xian stared at Long Fei, his eyes bloodshot. Long Fei, Tianxin was also stunned. You shouldn't have come. Long Fei said in a deep voice, if I didn't come, you would be dead now. To touch my woman, and even touch my brother, huff huff. Long Fei was like a fire dragon now, his breath bringing blazing hot flames. He was infuriated to the extreme. The eyes of Li Yuanba and the other three were slightly startled because they had a unique memory of Long Fei's voice in their mind, and it was very special, causing them to tremble slightly. Tian Xian consumed a blood coagulation pellet and quickly said to Heaven, Father, he is Long Fei. The corners of Heaven's mouth curled up as he said with a cold smile, coming to my doorstep myself. It really saves me a lot of trouble. Not waiting for him to finish, the dragon salure on Long Fei's shoulder moved again. Shua, a saber strike struck at Tian Xian. You're the one that touched my brother and killed my woman, right? Tian Xian was so frightened that his face darkened. He instantly summoned the barbarian wolf king. He did not think of anything else and wanted to escape, but the moment he summoned out the barbarian wolf king, the power in Long Fei's hands sank as he roared, Die! Buzz! A loud sound rang out in the air. Yan Huang Ancestor shouted, Long Fei, be careful! Without waiting for Long Fei's strength to fall, a powerful force came crushing from his chest. Boom! His chest exploded. Powerful energy was like a huge electric net, sealing off all the energy flowing through his body from his chest to his entire body. Long Fei was instantly sent flying. Boom! He smashed one of the walls of the courtyard into ruins. Tian Xian immediately became proud. Ha ha ha! What am I running for? I forgot that this is my home. Do I even need to run? Kid, is this great? Heaven fell from the sky and slowly landed, saying, Long Fei, you only have one path to take. Help my open dragon domain. I will let go of your family and forgive your brother. If not, today I will let them die tragically one by one in front of you. Boom! Ruins exploded, and the energy on Long Fei's body burned. Super Saiyan mode. A strong force directly carried him. Flying up into the air and looking at Heaven, he said, Do you know the consequences of messing with my family? Heaven said, Consequences? With your current appearance, what qualifications do you have to talk to me about the consequences? My consequence is that I want to tell you that you can only survive if you cooperate with me. Very arrogant, very disdainful. Tian Xian also laughed complacently. You dog, obediently staying in my Tian family, you can live for a few more years. Otherwise, today, you will turn into a dead dog. Ha ha ha. Tian Xing reminded, Long Fei, don't be rash. Heaven's cultivation was truly too strong. The first generation was also the first to evolve. He was the one who had opened the transmission gate and replaced the Lei family's position in savage domain. In just 3 short years, his cultivation had already reached the flying immortal peak realm, and he was not one bit inferior to Gu Tongtian. Moreover, this was the second generation of countless savage city. The third generation evolved human. How could Long Fei be a match for this? Tian Xian said, Tianxin, so you really do have a relationship with this slut. Then all the more reason for you to die. Finished. Tian Xian shouted, Where is the black-armored warrior? Hundreds of black-armored warrior SUs in the courtyard rushed towards Tianxing. The long sword in Tianxing's hand moved, but they did not stop. Without waiting for her to make a move, Long Fei's body moved. Thousand blessings, sect. Boom. He sent a black armored warrior flying, and the idea ordered, "In soldier warrior, listen up, bring Tianxing out of Savage City." "Yes, sir." Hundreds of ghost soldiers instantly jumped out of the city lord's mansion at the speed of light, and it happened all of a sudden without any time to react at all. Sky Profound's gaze tensed up and said, "You want to escape from Savage City?" "Humph, you guys can't escape even if you have wings today. Dad, we can't let that bitch escape. We can't let her get the news out." Tianxian shouted. If those ambitious words he said earlier were to be found out by the Chaos Realm, then they would have been instantly killed. He absolutely could not let that powerhouse know. Heaven also understood in his heart and said faintly, "Black armored army, listen up, chase after the entire city." Ha! The black armored warrior in the courtyard quickly retreated. He chased after Tianxin. Tianxian glanced at Long Fei and said with great interest, "Father, when Long Fei meets with his brothers, they should properly reminisce." Tianxian laughed complacently. "Long Fei, your 4 great Vajra body has been remodeled, and it has become different from before. It used to be like a pile of shit. They are our Tian family's 4 dogs. Ha ha ha. Do you think I can't control them just because you broke the bell?" The Sky Profound idea moved, took out a bell from the space ring, and said, "I still have some. Ha! You 4, attack." The bell rang, and a red light flashed across the 4 people's eyes. They all landed in front of Long Fei. They looked at Long Fei, their eyes filled with killing intent. Long Fei looked at the 4 of them, the 4 brothers, and the 4 great King Kong, but they were being controlled now. "I'm really sorry." Tianxian laughed complacently. Ha ha ha. Apologize? If apologies are useful, then what else do you need me to do? Kill them all. Chapter 1049, Li Yuanba Awakened. Chapter 1049, Li Yuanba Awakened. As soon as he finished, Li Yuanba and the other 2 moved at the same time and took a step. The 4 figures dodged and immediately surrounded Long Fei in the middle. Buzz! With the burst of power on Li Yuanba's body, with a body that was more than 2 meters tall, coupled with the big size of his muscles, his entire body was covered with strength stripes that could be seen with the naked eye. Powerful to the point of explosion. His fist struck towards Long Fei. The power of the dose of the heavenly spirit was like the descent of hell. The power of water on Lin Yoxing's body was like an enormous wave smashing onto him. Arhat's holy Buddha gravity, devil's power intertwined together and blasted Long Fei with all of his strength. 4. For powerful energies descended at the same time. Long Fei did not resist. He didn't try to block it either. Long Fei, they aren't your brothers right now. They are just puppets. If you don't retaliate, you will be beaten to death. Boom, 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 boom. The power exploded on Long Fei's body. Long Fei did not retaliate, nor did he retaliate. "Yuanba, it's me. I'm Long Fei, your boss." Long Fei spat out a mouthful of blood, then looked at Tianling and said, "Tianling, don't you remember me? Lin Yusheng, are you gay now? Arhut, don't you remember me? Don't you remember me?" Long Fei said one sentence after another. Their powers were very strong. So strong that if it wasn't for the protection of the power of the Golden Dragon Protector and the Yen Huang ancestor, Long Fei would have been killed instantly. But even so, Long Fei's health point was still declining rapidly. Ha ha ha. This is great. You won't retaliate when you see your former brothers? Since you don't want to retaliate, Then give me a good beating. Sky Profound was arrogant to the extreme and was exceptionally excited. The power of the four great Vajra had once again exceeded his expectations. The four of them had exploded with power comparable to a powerhouse of the flying fairyland. Heaven was also stunned, and she gave a faint reminder. Xianer, Long Fei's life is very important. Long Fei was the only one who could open the dragon domain. He did not want Long Fei to die just like that. Tian Xian smiled. Father, don't worry. I know what I'm doing. Fight. Hit him hard for me. The four great King Kong rushed forward again, exploding with power and crazily attacking Long Fei. However, Long Fei still did not resist at all, allowing the four to attack. No matter how much pain, Long Fei didn't want to attack his brother. Be they puppets or be controlled, Long Fei did not want to make a move on them, because Long Fei owed a lot in his heart. If it wasn't for the fact that he left for a few years and knew that they didn't come and didn't go back to visit them, this wouldn't have happened if he had gone back earlier. But how could Long Fei not want to go back? He thought about them almost every night, but he couldn't go back. He couldn't leave. Kid, if you continue like this, you'll really die. Boss, my defensive power is about to collapse. Boss, let's do it from the back, shall we? They don't treat you as their boss at all. They aren't your brothers at all. So go back. If this goes on, you'll be killed. The other dragon patriarchs shouted out loudly. The power of the Golden Dragon Protector was collapsing. The power of the Yen Huang ancestor was also on the verge of collapsing. After evolving, the power of the four Vajra bodies were too strong. However, this was still not their ultimate strength. Long Fei and the idea kept trying to enter their sea of consciousness, but every time they were forced out by a strong force, they were unable to do so. Just say it again and again. Yuanba, do you still remember Shenzhen sect? Do you still remember why your name is Li Yuanba? Tianling, do you remember killing the king of hell? Do you remember what your mother said? Lin Yuxing, have you forgotten what happened in Yuling Island? Arhut, do you remember who told you to throw off your restraints and fall into the path of evil? All of you wake up. Yuanba, wake up. Long Fei said word by word. He really couldn't find a way. He really didn't know how to help them break free from the shackles of their memories. Even if he were to break the other Sky Profound bell, he would still have the other one. None of this is the point. The point was, even if no one controlled them, they still wouldn't be able to recover. Yen Huang ancestor said, their consciousness has already been sealed. Long Fei, you won't be able to wake them up. Feel like it's a counterattack. My power is also going to end soon. The power of the Golden Dragon Protector had already collapsed. He couldn't withstand the impact of the four great king-level powers. Long Fei's health point was rapidly decreasing, but he did not give up. He kept talking. Li Yuanba was his brother, the head of the 8 King Kong. He was an extremely clear brother, and the Xian Shun sarcophagus on his body meant that he remembered her. He hadn't completely lost his spiritual consciousness. Yuanba! Long Fei roared. His fist was flung out, causing a part of the courtyard to collapse. He was buried inside the ruins. Ha ha ha! Long Fei, you dog, weren't you very arrogant in the desert? No matter how arrogant he is, ha ha ha! How did it feel to be beaten up by your own brother? It must be really good. Ha ha ha. Tian Xian laughed complacently. Heaven also had a proud smile on his face. He kept his attention on Long Fei's vital signs. He would not let Long Fei die, but Yi Zichen should have taught him a lesson before this. If Yi Zichen wanted to let him know that he wanted to live, then he would listen to him. Heaven took out a poison soul pill, threw it on the ground, and said, Long Fei, as long as you swallow this pill, I will forgive you. and I will also spare your Nantian region's family members. Boom! The ruins exploded, and Long Fei roared, F asterisk asterisk K your ancestors. The corners of Heaven's eyes turned sinister as he coldly snorted, Shameless! Tianxian said, Then beat me up again. Ha ha! And beat him up like a dead dog. The bell rang, and the four once again charged forward. At this moment, the Yan Huang ancestors' defensive power had also collapsed. Long Fei's face was covered in blood, and his eyes were filled with incomparable pain. Watching the four of them walk in step by step, tears flowed down from the corners of his eyes as he said, Do you really not remember anything? Have you really forgotten everything? Ah! Long Fei was furious. He flew into the sky and shouted, I'm your boss. The sound was earth-shaking. It resounded throughout the entire savage city. Tianxian laughed out loud and said, Now you're a dead dog, Long Fei, now you're a dead dog, ha ha ha. Smash him down. The moment Tianxian finished speaking, the four of them did not immediately move. Li Yuanba seemed to have been shocked by Long Fei's voice just now, as he looked at the unfamiliar and familiar Long Fei and muttered, Boss. Suddenly, Li Yuanba's consciousness had been destroyed by a giant's power. Li Yuanba's eyes returned to normal as he looked at Long Fei. His expression became excited. Boss. Chapter 1050. Explosion. Chapter 1050. Explosion it had awakened. With his spiritual consciousness breaking through, Li Yuanba was the first to awaken. Looking at the bloodied Long Fei, Li Yuanba was ecstatic and said, Boss, is it really you? Is it really you? His voice was trembling. Li Yuanba was like a little boy, tears flowing down her face. Is it really you, boss? Is it really you? He kept talking. The excitement could not be described with any words. Seeing Long Fei's face covered in blood, Li Yuanba asked in pain, Who beat you into this state? Tell me, I'll kill him. Long Fei laughed, laughing incomparably happily, laughing as though he was an idiot. He looked at Li Yuanba and shook his head. No, no. At this moment, Tianxian panicked a little as the bell in his hand shook nonstop. What are you all still standing there for? Go, kill him, kill this Long Fei dog. Li Yuanba's spirit consciousness had broken through the shackles as he completely awakened. They were completely out of control, but the other three were not. Their spiritual awareness was also unceasingly breaking through the shackles and had yet to break through it. During this battle, the effects of Tianxuan's orders weren't particularly strong. Now, it was as if their brains had been implanted with a string of wrong codes. It was a complete mess, and they were at a loss of what to do. Didn't I tell you to kill him? You want to disobey my orders? Tianxian shouted out loudly. At this moment, Li Yuanba turned and stared at the sky-profound realm bell in his hand and asked solemnly, Who do you want to kill? Kill my big brother? Then, Long Fei's entire body was injured, and he said, You were the one who controlled us earlier and made us attack, boss. Your grandmother's breasts and legs. Make a move on my boss. F asterisk CKU. As soon as he finished, Li Yuanba made a grabbing motion with his hands and heavily roared, Raging thunder, attack. Boom, boom. A pair of hammers made by Long Fei flashed out from thin air. When Li Yuanba held them in his hands, his entire body instantly became bewitched as thick devil flames crazily burned within. Moreover, his entire body was covered in lightning. This was the lightning and thunder that came from the clash of his powers, causing his powers to surge violently. Kill my boss! Li Yuanba roared, his body vanishing as the void appeared before him. Your ancestors in the future. In that instant, a loud sound echoed in the sky as the strength of the blood vein of the Titan god exploded forth. A stream of pure giant energy came crashing down through the twin hammers, a power that could destroy the heavens and the earth. This was his power. The power after evolution was only Li Yuanba himself. Tian Xian was completely dumbfounded. Seeing the shocking power slicing down from the sky, he was scared to the point that he couldn't even react. He could only shout, "Father, save me!" Heaven's eyes turned sinister, his right hand flipped, and took out a seal from his palm. Deep Earth Divine Seal. Open for me. A thick layer of defensive energy wrapped around the Sky Xian. The Deep Earth Divine Seal was a holy artifact. Other than the Transmission Gate S, the Savage Domain was one of the 3 great holy artifacts. It possessed an extremely strong defensive power that was able to gather all of the defensive power of the earth. This defense was extremely powerful. With the protection of this thick Earth Divine Seal, he didn't have to worry at all. However, Li Yuanba's 2 hammers struck down. The Deep Earth Divine Seal could not even last a second before it shattered. It released the Earth defense and was smashed into smithereens by his hammer attack. Walala! The defense shattered. Without losing any strength, Tian Xian's face paled. It was as if he had died. This was too scary. At this moment, he couldn't even make a sound. It was as if a death god was strangling him. It was extremely uncomfortable. Under the powerful force, the sky profound was trembling. The mount that he was riding, the savage wolf, was also trembling. However, in this instant, Li Yuanba's twin hammers did not strike down, but instead stopped above Tian Xian's head. A groove had appeared on his skull due to the powerful force of the wind, and as his eyes slightly opened, he looked at the fury lightning battle hammer that was hovering above his head and became incontinent. He said with a trembling voice, please spare me. Please spare me. Save me." At this moment, Li Yuanba's other raging thunder battle hammer suddenly smashed onto the body of the barbarian Wolf King. "Boss, catch it!" His life was given to him by Long Fei. His name was given to him by Long Fei. His heart has me, Long Fei. He could have instantly killed the Sky Profound with that strike just now, but he did not do that because Li Yuanba thought that killing the Sky Profound and the barbarian Wolf King would bring Long Fei even more benefits. Thus, he stopped. If he retracted his power, the backlash would be extremely harmful, but he didn't care about it. Boom. Tian Xian landed in front of Long Fei. He directly flipped over from the Savage Wolf King's body to the ground, then directly kneeled in front of Long Fei and said, "Long Fei, I was wrong just now. I was wrong." In the distance, the space between Heaven's eyebrows tightened. He once again underestimated Li Yuanba's power. He did not expect that a person from the Nantian region would have such a strong power after evolving. He was the first generation evolved, and the first person evolved as well. He was the strongest evolved person. Heaven felt unwell in his heart. He felt even more displeased when he saw his son kneeling down and begging for mercy. Long Fei smirked and said, "I won't kill you." Tian Xian relaxed, as if he had received an amnesty. However, just at this moment, Long Fei swung his blade and beheaded the Savage Wolf King. He roared out, "Do you think it's possible that I won't kill you?" Crack! Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Savage Wolf King, for obtaining 223,000,000 experience points, 110,000 power of celestial, and 1 energy values. Congratulations, player! A few items dropped. Long Fei had not released his striking energy value, nor did he have it right now. Not to mention, in front of him, there was an even stronger boss. The boss's body was glowing with a rich purple light. Heaven! Ancestor, this is the power that you want. Hurry up and absorb it. Long Fei reminded her. The beast blood splattered all over Tianxian's face. He was so scared that he seemed to have gone crazy. He continued to roar as Long Fei grabbed him and lifted him up. And then Long Fei said to Li Yuanba, "Carry the three of them." Li Yuanba quickly followed his orders. Long Fei stared at heaven and said, "Do you want your son's life? Be good and listen to me. Don't chase them out." Finished. Long Fei took a step forward and said, "Yuanba, let's go." Tianxian shouted, "Father, save me!" Heaven did not give chase. A shadow flashed as he walked out from thin air. He asked in confusion, "Master, why did you let them go?" Heaven sneered and said, "He will return." "Because his woman is in my hands." There were countless evolved people here. So why would Long Fei leave this heaven of leveled up? Because the three of them, Heavenly Spirit, Lin Yuxing, and Arhut, had not awakened yet. He wanted to first wake the three of them up, then turn over the savage city. Chapter 10:51. Chapter 10:51. Outside the savage city. Before Long Fei even landed on the ground, a shadow soldier ran up and said, "Boss, eldest sister-in-law has been captured, and a few hundred other brothers have also been captured." Once the shadow squad was exposed, they would be captured just like the humans. As long as his cultivation was stronger than theirs, it would be difficult for them to escape. Long Fei's face darkened and thought to himself, "No wonder my son was captured by me. Heaven, this purple light boss did not chase after him. I already said that." Long Fei landed. Li Yuanba carried his heavenly spirit, Lin Yusheng, and the Arhut down. Seeing Long Fei's furrowed brows, he could not help but ask, "Boss, what happened?" "Tianxin has been captured." Long Fei replied, "At this time, Long Fei, as long as you release me, I will immediately go back and release the Heavenly Star senior sister." "Long Fei, Tianxin is so beautiful. You don't want to lose her, right?" Tianxian said anxiously. Long Fei did not pay attention to him. Tianxian continued to speak. "Long Fei, my life is very important. I believe that my father will definitely use the Heavenly Star realm to exchange for my life. Calm down for me. Go back to your words, and I'll kill you." Long Fei's eyes were filled with anger as he roared out. Tianxian's body immediately shrunk, and he didn't even dare to breathe loudly anymore. After Heavenly Star was captured, Heaven's goal was not Profound Sky Continent, but him. If Heaven's goal was to save Sky Profound, then he would have chased him out when he escaped, but he didn't. Sky Profound had never thought that Long Fei would think about it so clearly. Thus, Long Fei also thought that Sky Star was currently safe. At least he wouldn't be in danger of losing his life. Thinking of this, Long Fei's heart secretly relaxed, and he thought to himself, "Wait for me, give me a bit of time." And then Long Fei ordered, "All remaining brothers of the Hellcore, keep an eye on him. I will be back in 3 days." With that said, Long Fei carried Tianxian and flew out. Li Yuanba carried the three of them and followed behind. After flying for a few hours, Long Fei arrived at a valley. The most important thing right now was to wake up Lin Yuxing and the other two so they couldn't let them get under their control again. Otherwise, Long Fei wouldn't even have the mood to return to the savage city. Speak. How are the three of them going to escape their control and regain their freedom? Long Fei stomped his foot on the profound sky continent, causing his eyes to become angry as he roared loudly. Tianxian quickly said, "I really don't know. They are an evolved human. They are controlled by the powerhouse. He definitely won't let us know." "Don't say it." Long Fei's eyes became ruthless, killing intent filled his eyes, and a thick, imposing aura pressed down, as he said, "Tell me." "Long Fei, I swear to God, if I don't tell you, I will be struck by lightning and will die a horrible death. Evolvers, the energy aura in each of their bodies is different. It could be said, no one in the gods' martial continent knew how they evolved, but this power was also a controlled power. That chaos realm was no fool. He would not give everything to the Tian clan without any means to control the Tian clan. If that was the case, then heaven and the others were too naive." The Yen Huang ancestor replied. "He indeed doesn't know. This is Chaos Realm's unique controllability. If you want to break through the barrier, you have to do so by yourself. Otherwise, you can't do it. You'll be reduced to nothing but a puppet for the rest of your life." Long Fei's heart sank. Gritting his teeth, he stared at the profound sky continent. Who captured them? "It's not me. It's not me. I've never been to the Nantian region. I don't know anything." Tianxian was so scared that he peed his pants. The aura on Long Fei's body was too oppressive. And then Tianxian said as he continuously retreated, "Long Fei, your woman is still in my father's hands. If you know what's good for you, then release me. Otherwise, threatening your father—" The corners of Long Fei's mouth turned cold. Tianxian said, "I am trying to reason with you. Your woman is in my father's hands. If you want her alive, then you must let me live. If I die, she will also die." Long Fei slowly walked forward and said, "I don't like to be reasonable the most. And I hate it when people threaten me the most." Finished. Long Fei's figure moved, and with a step, he landed right in front of Tianxian. He grabbed with his 5 fingers and directly grabbed Profound Sky's head, then exerted his strength and shouted, "I'll let you live well? It was you who hit Laozi's woman. This debt hasn't been settled yet. You are the one who is toying with my brother. This debt has not been settled yet. Are you still F** King threatening me? Die." The anger in Long Fei's heart surged. He exerted force through his 5 fingers and fiercely pinched them. With a sudden explosion, his head exploded, causing half of his body to sway for a bit as he fell to the ground. The system beeped. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Profound Sky for gaining 150,000 experience, 25,990 power of celestial points, and 10 energy values points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. None of the items that dropped caught Long Fei's eyes, as they had all been devoured by the Yen Huang ancestor. In this generation, anything dropped by a second-generation evolved human was like a great replenishment pill to the ancestor. They were all good stuff. Long Fei looked at Profound Sky's corpse on the ground and said coldly, "You have also overestimated your value. In your father's eyes, you're not even worth a penny." Li Yuanba said, "Boss, what do we do next?" Since eldest sister-in-law has been captured, let's go back and save her. Li Yuanba had a serious look on his face, but even now, he was still extremely excited in his heart. With Long Fei by his side, he was not afraid of the sky collapsing. Long Fei said, "There's no need to rush. She is not in any danger right now. The most pressing matter at hand is to wake the three of them up." "Right. Take off the Shun sarcophagus on your body." Long Fei said. Li Yuanba was startled and revealed a sad look. "Boss, do you not need me to give you the sword sheath? You don't want me anymore?" From beginning to end, he had been carrying this huge stone coffin on his back. Was precisely because he wanted to do some things for Long Fei. In the past few years, he had already gotten used to it, and even Chaos Realm did not do it when she used her idea to make him remove the stone coffin on his back. This belief went deep into his bones. It was also because of this that Li Yuanba's simple and silly personality was the first to break free from his restraints. His world's only center of gravity was Long Fei. This was the Lubi. Long Fei was moved and said, "Lubi." Li Yuanba said, "Boss, just let me help you carry your back. I'm not tired at all. Haha." He smiled foolishly. After leaving Long Fei once, he really did not want to leave again. Following that, Long Fei moved a bit and took out the giant spirit coffin from the space ring and said slightly, "Yuanba, this is your power. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories."